team has succeeded against the odds. Now the Gators face their biggest challenge of the season, overcoming the memory of last week's gut-wrenching loss to Auburn and preparing for their most hated rival, the Georgia Bulldogs. Ray Goff's team has been on a roller coaster of its own. A team built on youth and relying on the magic of tailback Rodney Hampton has struggled at times. But during the current 3-game win streak, the Dogs have discovered some consistency. Today, two teams at the crossroads of their seasons meet with bold dreams at stake and their pride on the line in one of college football's most emotional settings. Live from the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida, TBS Sports continues its 6th season of SEC football coverage. 83,000 are packed in today, holding one of the toughest tickets in football. It's colorful, exciting, inspiring, and it's more. It's the 68th meeting between the Georgia Bulldogs and the 20th ranked Florida Gators. Hello, everybody. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal from the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. Two tailbacks will be displayed today, two of the best runners in America. Emmitt Smith of Florida, the nation's leading rusher, and the #2 rusher in the conference, Rodney Hampton of the University of Georgia. Now, Emmitt Smith has been beating or playing well against about everybody, but against Georgia the last couple of years, subpar performances. He had some injuries, and Florida's offense in those games was very one-dimensional. What about Florida and Emmitt this year?
Well, when you've got somebody like Emmitt Smith, you want to get the ball in his hands. One-dimensional may be a little strong, but I think you can expect the same thing from the Florida offense, regardless if it's first down, second down, or third down. You know, they've got a young quarterback, Donald Douglas, a true freshman. You don't want to put too much pressure on him. Don't let him lose the football game for you. He's got great feet, a good runner. He'll develop into a passer with time. But right now, Whitey Jordan is thinking, don't give him too much to do.
Young Georgia defense, key to the game, stopping Emmitt, that simple.
You bet. They want to do the same thing that Auburn was able to do last week. Last week, Emmitt carried the ball 27 times, around 90 yards. He's going to get his yardage. Just try to keep him from breaking a big one. That's what you're thinking on Georgia.
Now, for the first time in my memory, and I'm, of course, just a young guy, Georgia is not one-dimensional. They're throwing it and they're running it, but nevertheless, Rodney Hampton is still their guy.
Real good mix, and this is going to be kind of a challenge for this Florida defense that's been ranked #1 in the nation because of, as you mentioned, Georgia's got 180 passes, 160 runs, but Hampton is the man, the focal point. He can catch it coming out of the backfield, and they've got to rely on him to set up the pass, and they'll do that with the run.
You mentioned the Florida defense, #1 in the country, an inspiring performance against Auburn last week. Their key, same thing, stop Hampton first?
Exactly. I think they got to shut down the run and then make Georgia throw the ball. They're a bunch of blue-collar guys. Gary Darnell's done a wonderful job with that defense.
If it's close, low-scoring, and kicking plays a big role, Georgia has an edge both punting and kicking the football. We'll be back to the Gator Bowl in just a moment, but right now let's go back to our studios in Atlanta. Craig Sager and the Insider Report.
Thanks, Bob. If you plan to follow your favorite SEC team to a bowl game, your holiday plans are no doubt up in the air. The conference champion will be in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl on New Year's night, but that could be Alabama, Auburn, or Tennessee. With an overall record of 25-7 against non-conference opponents, the SEC could send up to 7 teams to bowls. The invitations go out 2 weeks from today, but the Independent is favoring Tulsa against one of 4 teams, possibly Mississippi State. The All-American in Birmingham is hoping for the Duke-NC State winner against Georgia if the Dogs win today. The Liberty will have one of the academies, Air Force or Army, hosting probably Ole Miss. The Hall of Fame in Tampa is courting Auburn or Florida, with Penn State as the likely opponent. The Citrus in Orlando wants either Tennessee or Auburn against Illinois if the Illini doesn't go to the Rose. And the Copper Bowl, which will be seen here on TBS New Year's night from Tucson, would like to match Arizona against Texas A&M or Georgia. I know it's all rather confusing at this point, but the pieces will start to fall in place after today. Plenty of highlights at halftime. Up next, the opening kickoff of Florida and Georgia.
The Old Milwaukee Insider Report has been brought to you by Old Milwaukee Beer and Old Milwaukee Light, 2 of America's great tasting beers. It doesn't get any better than this.
Black Rock, Nevada and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Black Rock means land sailing, riding the wind across dry desert lakes. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place and Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
DuPont knows businesses come in all shapes and sizes. As different as they are, they still agree on one thing. DuPont certified. The carpets American business is built on.
The Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. You can have your Oklahoma, Texas. You can have the Michigan, Ohio State. But for sheer surprise and for border rivalry, there is none greater than the Georgia Bulldog Florida Gator Series. Georgia leads this series 43-22-2, and even it is disputed because the Gators say it was only 42. There was a game back in 1904 that Florida simply doesn't recognize. Georgia won it 52-0. Here come the Florida Gators, 6-2 overall this year, 3-2 in the SEC. They have had another year of turmoil. Gary Darnell on October 8th replaced Galen Hall as the interim head coach. Gary Darnell had been the defensive coordinator. But the Gators are a very good football team, and the Florida Gators are ready to take on the Georgia Bulldogs here in the Gator Bowl. Georgia has dominated this series for the last decade, really.
Here come the Bulldogs.
A win here and there. Now the Georgia Bulldogs, led by Ray Goff. Ray Goff was an all-conference quarterback for this team and played in this game back in 1976. And the Georgia Bulldog fans are ready for this team to win and move on to hopefully a bowl bid. Interestingly enough, in this game, it's bigger than any bowl they would go to anyway. Ray Goff, his first year as a collegiate head coach after spending 6 seasons as a Georgia assistant to Vince Dooley.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
In the next few hours, someone is going to ask you a tough question. What's for dinner? I'm here to help you with the answer. It could be A, Mrs. Paul's Crispy Crunchy Fillets, or B, Mrs. Paul's Crispy Crunchy Fish Steaks. Then again, it could be C.
Thanks, Gramps.
All of the above.
No one can make fish sticks and fillets taste like Mrs. Paul's, because no one else can use her special recipe.
If it's not Mrs. Paul's, throw it back.
This is delicious, Danny. What do you call it?
It's new ragu fresh Italian pasta sauce.
So delicate. What's it called?
Fresh Italian pasta sauce.
Yeah, it's really fresh, but what's the name?
Ragu uses less heavy tomato paste and twice the crushed tomatoes.
But what's the name of the sauce?
New ragu fresh Italian pasta sauce. More crushed tomatoes, more fresh tomato taste.
Twice, 3 times.
Here's a jar.
You want it, Tommy?
Look, it has the name on it.
Forget it.
Portions of today's game are brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst. And by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows. Today's game is brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. By Georgia Pacific. Ask for Georgia Pacific building products with superior performance built in. And by Buick and your Buick dealer. The Great American Road belongs to Buick.
Florida won the toss, will defer to the second half. That means Georgia will receive. Deep back for Georgia on the right of your screen. Rodney McCoy, a redshirt freshman. On the left, number 12, Arthur Marshall. Arthur is a sophomore. They are the deep backs kicking off for Florida. Number 7, John David Francis.
Georgia Bulldogs. They'll be led by sophomore Greg Talley. 6 touchdown passes on the year. Rodney Hampton is the man. 835 yards, 8 touchdowns, 16 receptions. Jack Swan will be alternating with Ben Lane at center. It's been an inconsistent spot for the offensive line for Georgia. Opening play of this ball game from the Gator Bowl. Hampton to the 39-yard line. He was hit by Brad Culpepper, the bell cow, the middle guard, the leader of the defensive front of the University of Florida Gators. Brad Culpepper's a sophomore from Tallahassee. Tony McCoy and Mark Murray flank him. Huey Richardson, you saw him in on that play number 9. He has 9 sacks to lead that team in only 6 games, by the way. Kerry Watkins, a key player in the defense. He was the man who was burned in the Auburn touchdown at the end of the ball game last week when Auburn beat the Gators. It is 2nd down 7 from the 40. Talley to throw. Incomplete, intended for number 12, Arthur Marshall. It will be 3rd down 7, Georgia, from near the Bulldog 40-yard line.
Let's watch Marshall work here. Good job by Fain. He just said he's waiting to jam, and Talley, I think, threw that into the dirt on purpose. Fain was not backing out of there. He was holding on that route, and a good decision by Greg Talley. And let me mention, Bob, that Jerry Odom has left the game with a bad shoulder, and that'll make a difference for that Florida defense.
Odom, the left inside linebacker for Florida. Intended for Hampton, incomplete at the 43. Ephesians Bartley, a sophomore, a hometown youngster from Jacksonville, making the stop. 3 downs and out for Georgia. They'll have to punt it away. And in comes Joey Hester. And if he mentioned it once, he mentioned it 5 times yesterday. Ray Goff said one of the keys to this game will be the performance of this young man, the senior from Cairo, Georgia, averaging 38 yards per punt. That's Tony Lomack back to take the punt for Florida. He's standing at about his 18-yard line. They're coming after it. Almost blocked. Penalty marker down. This ball is going to roll dead at the 5, but there's a penalty marker down. It looked like Myrick Anderson may have hit the punter, Joey Hester. Al Ford, the referee, the man in the white hat, heading the Southeastern Conference officiating crew here today. That was a 55-yard punt that rolled dead on the 5, exactly what Goff wants out of Hester today. However, the Bulldogs may decide to keep it depending on what the call is, running into or roughing the punter. It's possible it would not be a first down.
Talked to Al Ford before the game, Bob, and we've had this group for the last 2 weeks as Ray Goff wants to get some information. There have been some controversial calls for the last 2 weeks. Al said they're not going to have any problem today.
I guess we know what Ray's telling the players. It would not be a first down if it's running into the punter. And it's dead at the 5.
And running into the kicker, a 5-yard penalty against the receiving team. It's designed for practice.
Well, and the good news for Georgia is the ball rolled dead on the 5-yard line, and that's where the Gators will have to start deep in their own territory, and they're led by an 18-year-old quarterback by the name of Donald Douglas, who is a true freshman from Liberty, Texas. Let's just check it out again. Once again, watch number 26.
Great position to block the punt, took his eye off the ball a little bit, then did run into the kicker. And I think Gary Darnell wants to make something happen on special teams, Bob, and on defense to take the heat off of this offense.
Myrick Anderson ran into Joey Hester. First down 10 from the 5. Look at this. Coming around the right side is Donald Douglas, the freshman. Florida first down. This is what he brings to this team. George Wynn made the stop. Donald Douglas, the true freshman, 18 years old, 6'2", 190 from Liberty, Texas, with an 18-yard run. The die-hard lineup has Emmitt Smith, the tailback, the nation's leading runner, and the rest of the offensive cast. John Durden, the best offensive lineman for the Florida Gators. They spotted at the 23-yard line. Douglas was recruited as a passing quarterback. He has a good arm, but they've been having him run most of the time. Here's the toss. It is complete to Emmitt. Avoids the tackle. Dives near the 30-yard line. Emmitt Smith from Donald Douglas.
Robert Bell with a stop for Georgia. He's the nose guard. Middle of that Georgia defensive front. Hiawatha Berry on one side and Bill Goldberg, the leading tackler, on the other side. He also has 8 sacks. Goldberg, the significant frontline player for Georgia. Mo Lewis is the junior from Peachtree, Georgia. 10 sacks on the year. And Ben Smith is the star in the backfield. A free safety, 6 interceptions, 1 sack, 2 fumble recoveries, 12 passes broken up. Second down, 4. Nothing happening. Emmitt Smith with a yard or 2. Bell with a stop.
And I think the plan for Whitey Jordan, the offensive coordinator here at Florida, is that he wants to show Georgia early that Donald Douglas can throw the ball. He feels good about him throwing the ball from the pocket. Obviously, the field position to start the game with was not the type of field position where he can go do that, so they showed him a different aspect of the talent of this young man, and he bootlegs it out of there.
Third down, 2. Emmitt Smith, second effort. Got him the first down. Ben Smith will get credit for the tackle. They had him stopped. How many times has that been said about Emmitt Smith?
But this Gator offensive line work. No superstars in that offensive line, but just a bunch of fellas just getting after it. And as you said, Bob, Emmitt Smith keeping those legs driving. Not enough Bulldogs there quick enough.
First and 10 from the 34. Here comes Emmitt Smith again. To the 39-yard line. Emmitt Smith is 5'10", 200 pounds, a junior from Pensacola. Says he's going to stay with the Gators and play again next year. The pro scouts are drooling over this back. He's not only fast, and he's not only a player who will give you 30 carries, but he's incredibly strong.
Yeah, he's a durable back, Bob. He pops it in there, pops it in there, pops it in there. I mean, Auburn last week gave him all the licks that he's ever going to take, and you know how physical that defense is, and he just kept coming back after him.
Now Willie McClendon, number 5 in the tailback on the second down 4 from the 40. Douglas rolling left to throw. Incomplete. Out near the 48-yard line. That was intended for Ernie Mills. Chris Wilson covering for Georgia, number 16. Mills is the junior from Dunellen, Florida.
And Ray Goff, quarterback himself at Georgia, SEC Player of the Year back in 1976. And Ray was kind of in that Donald Douglas mold. Probably not as fleet of foot, but had a big arm, could throw the ball, but felt just as comfortable pulling it down and running.
A big arm and a big body, a very strong running quarterback. He scored a touchdown in the 76 Georgia-Florida game right here at the Gator Bowl on a keeper. Third down 4. Douglas over the middle. It is complete for the first down to Terrence Barber. Chris Wilson covering a gain of 12 yards.
If you're Richard Bell, the defensive coordinator at Georgia, you ought to force Donald Douglas to throw it down the field. Take away that little short stuff. Make him throw it down the field. Here he throws it to Barber over the middle. Chris Wilson had let him slide inside him. Nice catch by Terrence Barber.
Already more completions than last week for Donald Douglas. He's 2 out of 3 for 18 yards. To the 41-yard line goes Emmitt Smith. Demetrius Douglas with a stop for Georgia. So remember, this drive started after a 55-yard punt on the 5-yard line of Florida. They have driven it inside Bulldog territory. They opened the game with an 18-yard run by Donald Douglas. Barber and Lomack, the split receivers on second down 3 for the Gators. And off to the fullback. That's Cedric Smith from Enterprise, Alabama. Mo Lewis making the stop. Smith close to the first down.
If you can knock off that 5 or 6 yards on first down, it just makes things a lot easier for you offensively. Then you can give it to Cedric, and then you can give it to Willie, and then you can scoot Donald Douglas on the corner. But being successful on first down is going to be very important for both these teams because they both have good defenses.
Why is Emmitt out of the game this early, resting after 4 carries?
Well, it's a long game, and he knows he's going to carry the ball 30 times, and whether it happens in the first 3 quarters or spread out over 4. And I think what you want to do is you'd rather have him in there fresh, because
when you play this junkyard dog defense, you're going to take a licking. You know that, and so
they want him to keep on ticking.
That's right. Good. Like that. Like that. Rudy, did you hear that one?
First down 10 from the 30. 10th play of the drive. 10 minutes to go first quarter from the Gator Bowl. Scoreless ball game. Georgia 3 downs and out, but the Gators mounting an attack. They give it to Cedric Smith again. Not much happening that time. Kurt Douglas and Mo Lewis combining. Kurt Douglas, the sophomore left inside linebacker.
And one of the things that Emmitt Smith is learning too, I think, and from Whitey Jordan, is how to become a better receiver. You come out of high school and you're just used to them pitching a ball back to you, and then you can make your moves and go where you want to go. But guys like Peyton and the great backs and the Roger Craigs in the NFL learn how to become good receivers.
From the 36, second down 8. The pitch to Emmitt. Couldn't avoid the one tackler. The penetration made by 53, Demetrius Douglas.
Watch Demetrius Douglas here, number 53, reads the play, sits still, patiently waits. Cedric Smith doesn't get the ball, and now he comes out there, and Emmitt gives him a little juke, and he's going down, but he's got enough athletic ability to sweep those legs and make the stop.
Demetrius, the senior from College Park, Georgia, 3rd down 9 from the 37, 3 wideouts. Georgia with pressure. Douglas throws the interception. 43 is Kurt Douglas. He's got the ball at the 28-yard line. The first turnover of this game. Goff said he hoped an 18-year-old quarterback playing in a game this big would make the mistake. Now hold it. There is a penalty marker down. It is going to go against the Gators. The interception will hold. That was Kurt Douglas' first interception of the year. It's Georgia football.
Logan Pass, Montana and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Logan Pass means trailblazing, exploring the wilderness of Glacier National Park. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, an Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Guys, it just doesn't get any better than this.
This is the Goody's Extra Strength formula that you made the best-selling headache powder in the Southeast. The same reliable brand that's been relieving the pain and discomfort of headaches, arthritis, muscular aches and colds for more than 50 years. And the very same extra strength formula that Goody's has now made into a tablet. Goody's Extra Strength tablets and powders. Now, isn't that a relief?
Rutgers against West Virginia. Major Harris, the quarterback for West Virginia, trying to make a run at the Heisman. Rutgers is playing the option, so Major Harris says, I'll just keep it myself. Goes 59 yards down the sideline for the go-ahead touchdown. West Virginia leads 14-7. Back to Bob and Tim.
Okay, here we go. Bill Goldberg on the left side of your screen here takes an inside charge and ties up the back, trying to get out into the pattern, and enables Douglas to get a drop in here and make the interception. Let's watch it happen. Emmitt Smith trying to get out, but he sees he needs the help on Goldberg. Doesn't get out. Douglas gets into the pattern and makes the interception. Big plays. You know, sometimes the media is critical of the reasons you don't throw the ball more, and that's why you don't throw the ball. You don't want to turn the ball over. Let people do what they do best.
Georgia 3 downs and out on their first drive. 1st and 10 from the 28. Second possession. Rodney Hampton to the 31-yard line. Pat Moore with the stop, number 45 for the Gators. This Gator defense is quick. This man, Rodney Hampton's fast, but this defense, the Gator defense, there are several guys on this team who can run at about the same speed as Rodney Hampton. Unbelievable.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Godfrey Miles, what is he? He's under 4'4", and he weighs 235 pounds. Amazing skills.
On 2nd down 7, Talley. Hit from behind at the 26-yard line, Jerry Odom, the left inside linebacker.
talking to somebody yesterday, and Jerry Odom said, tell those guys not to call me an overachiever. You know, well, Jerry, if we don't call you that, we got to call everybody else an underachiever. He squeezes every little drop out of that little body of his. His dad's a head coach down at Merritt Island, and just a great player, coach on the field type of player.
Third down, 12 from the 26. Hampton with the lookout block there. All he was saying was, look out, here comes Odom. Talley in the pocket, over the middle, complete to Marshall. Out to the 43-yard line. Arthur Marshall gets the first down. True freshman Will White made the stop, a gain of 16.
Good job by that offensive front of Georgia. Colley, Sadler, Alfonso Ellis helping, gives Talley the time for Marshall to run that deep route. White is there to make the stop.
Talley, first pass completion of the game on the first down. Hampton tries the right side. Georgia's been working the right side of that line. Moore steps up to make the stop here, and the Bulldogs driving out near midfield. Florida was on a drive from their own 5 when true freshman Donald Douglas threw the interception, and the Bulldogs have taken over.
Ray Goff looks on, very proud of some of the things that this team has been able to accomplish. Proud of his young players.
Second down, 7. Maxwell in motion. Hampton goes the other way, gets the block. Hampton inside Florida territory, near the first down, but short. Ephesians Bartley with the stop. Bartley's 44 for the Gators. 83,000 at the Gator Bowl. 75 degrees, light wind out of the north. Perfect day for football.
Folks in this part of the country look forward to this game all year long. And it's certainly, as you pointed out, Bob, a beautiful day for it.
The winner of this game will probably go to a bowl game, but the bowl game they go to won't be as big as this bowl game today. On a third down, 2. Hampton again. Close to the first down. It'll have been on the mark. Looked like they stopped him from here. Tony McCoy, 71, the right defensive tackle, made the initial hit on the play.
Aggressive upfield defense. Put the pressure on. Watch number 57, Jerry Odom, taking that gap, taking on Brian Cleveland. Good job of blocking by Cleveland. He cleared the way. But Tony McCoy closed it from his right defensive tackle spot and made the play up.
It's short by about the length of the ball, so Joey Hester, who had a 55-yard punt, stop at the 5-yard line the last time out. He was run into by Myrick Anderson of Florida, but it was a running into the punter. The penalty would have been less than a first down. Georgia declined the penalty, and Florida started at their 5-yard line. So going back to take the punt is Tony Lomack. Sure, they want him to try to grab it and get something out of it this time. He'll have to stand, however, at his 10-yard line. Georgia with a clear edge in the kicking game. Both Casey, their field goal kicker, and Hester, the punter, have had more consistent seasons than their counterparts of the Gators. At the 15-yard line, Stacy Simmons gets about a yard, not much more. A 32-yard punt, effective, off the foot of Joey Hester.
As a student, I worked hard and studied hard because I set personal goals for myself. I wanted to be the best I could be. And now at Golden Flake, our goal is to be the best we can be. The key to success, whether in your personal life or your career, is to set goals and actively work toward them. Be a winner. Set your goals high and reach for the stars.
This message presented by Golden Flake Snack Foods and the Southeastern Conference.
Mutts away from me, you know. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore.
Paul Simon may not find it amusing, but the The Gator and the Bulldog fans certainly do. Some of these people have been down here a week and will be down here another week. The city by the river, Jacksonville.
Before they find their way home.
Before they find themselves. First down 10 from the 16. Out to the 20-yard line goes Willie McClendon. The tailback in place of Emmitt Smith at the moment. McClendon is a sophomore. He, too, is a Jacksonville product. Florida used to have almost an exclusive hold on the Jacksonville market in terms of high school football talent. Since the probation several years ago, that has now shifted, and the Florida State Seminoles have a much better hold currently on the good products out of this area. Second down, 6 from the 20. McClendon to the right side. McClendon showing some power. He's no chopped liver. Out to the 28 where freshman Mike Jones makes the stop after McClendon breaks a tackle and gets the first down.
Now, this is as good a job as running as I've ever seen from Willie McClendon. The coaches tell me that he's got great ability, great talent. We haven't seen it in a game. Nice block by Cedric Smith. Good head in there. And McClendon keeps those legs driving, churns out some extra yardage.
They'll spot it at the 28. It's enough for a first down. Scoreless ball game, 4:27 to go in the first quarter. Florida had a drive going, and Donald Douglas threw the interception to Kurt Douglas, no relation. Try the middle this time with Dexter McNabb out of the tailback spot. McNabb, a swing man, is a sophomore from Defuniak Springs, Florida. He wears number 21. He's 6'1", 235. Also a pretty big bruising back. It'll be second down 4 from the 34.
Florida trying to line up with 3 wide receivers, spread everybody out a little bit, trying to create some seams in that Georgia defense and let those running backs work their way up inside.
Florida with a big edge in total yards so far, but they have the turnover. To the 36-yard line, penalty marker goes down. Comes Dexter McNabb, a penalty marker on the near side of the field. Al Ford, the referee in the white hat. That's Bill Goldberg, 95. He has a rotator cuff injury to his arm, but he's been hurt all year long. He's one of these guys, I think you have to shoot him to stop him anyway.
Talking to his brother Mike before the game down on the sidelines. He's from Miami, and Bill has just had a great year. Came to school more serious this year than he's ever been, and worked hard all summer to get himself ready for a premier season, and he's having it. Just doing a fine job for Georgia.
Going to repeat second down.
8 sacks coming into this game. He's even got an interception.
The holding call goes against the Florida Gators. They'll move it back to the 28-yard line. Ray Goff at 34 years old. These are the first 2 times these 2 coaches have faced each other in the Gator Bowl. Ray Goff is the man that Georgia folks hope will be there as long as Dooley. However, Gary Darnell, an interim coach, he knows not of his future. He is thinking of the present. Second and 10 from the 28 now after the penalty. Out to the 30 goes Emmitt Smith.
I'm sure Richard Bell defensively for Georgia is thinking, we're going to wide up in there. We're going to wide up in here till you make us get out. You know, we're going to stop this run. We're going to make you throw the ball. And if there was any question in their mind about whether they were going to do that, that was erased after they've seen Donald Douglas throw a couple of passes. Gary Darnell, obviously concerned about the one-dimensional aspect of his offense, and he's going to take a linebacker mentality. He's going to try to knock him off the ball.
Now, this is an obvious passing down for most teams. Florida's going to do it. Douglas's arm is hit. The ball falls incomplete. Mo Lewis got back there, 57, and got his arm on the arm of Donald Douglas. So both of the obvious passing situations in the last 2 Florida drives have turned into disastrous results.
And Mo Lewis, number 57, is one of the best athletes in the SEC. He gets his arm on Donald Douglas, but the thing is, once Douglas decides to throw the ball, he needs to let it go quicker. He's got one of those long deliveries, and that's one thing they're working on.
Hank Roan, the Florida punter, has been inconsistent this year. This is a short one. It's fair caught by Arthur Marshall at the 37-yard line. That was only a punt of 33 yards. Scoreless game. First quarter from the Gator Bowl.
Next Saturday, Auburn's Reggie Slack fires an aerial assault against a ready and waiting Bulldog defense. The South's oldest rivalry, Auburn versus Georgia. 12:30 Eastern on TBS next Saturday.
I'm Bill Farley, and I don't just run Fruit of the Loom. I really run and work out and sometimes even relax. So I know what you need in activewear, and Fruit of the Loom activewear gives it to you. I made sure of it. Our full-cut t-shirts can really take it. Our comfortable sweats move right with you in colors that fit your style. Quality activewear, one more way we fit America.
The event, Class 9 New York Knockout, the great one. Nature Boy Ric Flair, challenged by Terry Funk. Call him controversial, but call him sir. Plus more, live Wednesday, November 15th, 8:05 p.m. on TBS.
SMU actually scored against Notre Dame, but they had problems converting the extra point. It's blocked by Nick Smith. Andre Jones catches it at the 10 and then goes 90 yards. The defensive extra. 2 points for Notre Dame on this play. They have since added a field goal. But Andre Jones, 90 yards, and it's 19-6. Back to Bob and Tim.
0-0 here at the Gator Bowl. 2:21 to go in the first quarter. First down 10, Georgia, after the 33-yard punt from Roan. The ball at the 36-yard line of the Bulldogs. Marshall in motion. Talley has Marshall open right down the middle. Into Gator territory near the 47-yard line. A Georgia first down. And a gain of 16 yards. And Talley's now 2 out of 4 throwing the ball. Good pressure from 45, Pat Moore, coming up the middle.
Moore coming after him up the middle to try to get secondary contained. Mark Murray doing a good job holding him up. But as Talley goes to the ground, he delivers the ball right on time to Marshall.
Here's Hampton. Right side. Georgia continuing to probe at the defensive left of Florida. Huey Richards tripped up Hampton that time. Hampton now with 6 carries, 19 yards. Emmitt Smith, on the other hand, for Florida, 6 carries for 19 yards. And Emmitt Smith has been sharing the tailbacking spot for Florida. We'll talk about it more when Florida has the ball. But Smith, McClendon, and McNabb of all 3 played out of the tailback spot. Very unlike the Florida offensive set. They want to run Emmitt Smith about 30 times if they can. Hampton has gone all the way for Georgia. This is 2nd and 6. Talley taking it upstairs. Good defensive coverage on Arthur Marshall. That was Richard Fain, one of the better defensive backs for the Gators, 2nd ranked in the nation in pass defense.
Let's watch Arthur Marshall here working against Richard Fain. He takes it inside, straightens it up, and now he's taking the middle of the field. There's no safety inside of Marshall. If Talley had been able to throw the ball inside, that would have drawn him away from Richard Fain, who is actually probably the best man-to-man coverage man that Florida has.
Talley the better leader on this Georgia team between the quarterbacks, but freshman Preston Jones the better passer. We may see him some in the game. Third down 6. Incomplete. Talley had his man, Chris Broom, the tight end, who couldn't hold on to it. And we're going to see Joey Hester again, who was recruited by Georgia as a quarterback, but who's been punting, and this will be the 3rd punt of the day for Joey Hester. Ray Goff called it. He said Hester's going to have to play a major role for us. Back is Tony Lomack, number 20, to receive for the Gators. Hester's put him back, too, at the 5 on the first punt, at the 16 on the second punt. Let's see if this one's going to check up. Look at the coverage by the Bulldogs at the 1-yard line. Hester doing a great job, and down there was Jimps Cole to down it at the 1, a 43-yard punt. They'll move it out to the 2.5, but the Dogs have done the damage.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American
has been Joey Hester, Georgia's punter.
This week's Fruit of the Loom Classroom champion is Florida's Mike Glassman. Senior from Hollywood, Florida, earned an honorable mention All-American in 1988 as part of the Gators 400 medley relay team. In pre-med, he has a 3.89 GPA. Mike Glassman, Fruit of the Loom Classroom champion. For lasting quality and value, they fit America. The view from the end zone where the Gators are bottled again. The average start for the Gators today, their 8-yard line. Emmitt Smith trying to find a hole. He gets out to about the 6.5. What a play by Jimps Cole of Georgia.
Jimps Cole. Now, you know, if you got a name like that, eventually you're going to do something good. And not only is it Jimps Cole, it's Jimps Cole the third. Watch him now, number 51, a senior. Doesn't play much on defense, but he's a defensive lineman. He comes down, makes the catch, tries to make the catch, drops the ball, but keeps it out of the end zone. Too many players let that ball bounce and it pops into the end zone. Way to go, Jimps.
It'll be remembered as the Hester to Cole combination. Down the left side now. Near the first down, Emmitt Smith hit by Al Jackson, the true freshman. Right cornerback number 2. And Emmitt Smith now with 8 carries, 29 yards. Time ticking down in the bottom right of your screen there was 9 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and Emmitt Smith looks like he's taking himself out of the game again.
Well, I'm not sure what their procedure is, Bob. You know, when you've got a great back like Emmitt Smith, you may give him some latitude that you don't give a regular player.
We had understood by some of the Gator watchers that Emmitt had been calling himself in and out of the game in some recent Florida games, which, as you say, is somewhat unusual even for a great back at the college level. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. It's a scoreless ball game. When we come back, it'll be Gator ball, first down 10 from their 13-yard line. Well, it's a scoreless ball game after 1, 0-0, and it's been really a defensive battle so far, and the punting game of Georgia has done a great job. The average start for the University of Florida at their own 8-yard line.
Exactly. Special teams have done well for Georgia, and I think you're going to see Georgia bunching up more. Because from what we've seen in this first quarter, I'm not sure that Whitey Jordan's going to be pulling a string on that passer a lot.
Al Ford resetting the clock. Opening play of the second quarter from the 13-yard line. Willie McClendon, the tailback for Florida now. We've seen 3 of them already. McClendon tries the middle, out to the 18-yard line. Goldberg with his second tackle of the day. Bill Goldberg, the leading tackler on the Georgia team. In the first quarter statistics, you can see the total yardage belonging to Florida, but they have the big one down in the bottom left, and that's the interception.
They had a good drive going on early in the first quarter and got down there and came up with 3rd and long, and they want to keep Donald Douglas out of that situation as much as they can.
Second down 5. To the fullback, 34, Darrell Perry, across the 20 to the 22-yard line. 5 passing attempts for Florida today. That was the 16th run as a penalty marker goes down. Scores around the nation. Notre Dame leading SMU. Tennessee playing the Akron Zips of Jerry Faust and leading early. West Virginia also leading after Major Harris' long TD run, Heisman candidate. Ohio State leading Iowa, and Purdue, Tim Foley, in that big annual battle between the Boilermakers and the Wildcats, leading 7-0.
After the play was over, had a personal foul against the offensive team. Down be 3rd down after half a distance penalty.
Back to the 10.5-yard lines where they'll spot the ball. Personal foul is the call. Let's see if we can see anything. Watch for Darrell Perry here, number 34. There's the elbow.
Well, if that's what was called, I mean, the play was over. Bill Goldberg was pulling him back. He was trying to shake him off.
Who knows? Rick Mahorn was who he looked like. Willie McClendon out to the 16-yard line. Mo Lewis making the stop. see that all night in the NBA. Nobody gets 15-yard penalty.
You know, and as a coach, you want your people to make intelligent decisions. Don't let your emotions get you carried away and do something that's going to hurt everybody else so you can feel good just for a little while.
That's Arthur Marshall going out to midfield here at the Gator Bowl because Georgia has bottled up Florida. But they started at their 5, at their 16, then at the 2.5-yard line, and just been able to get on track. Here's Hank Roan, had a 33-yard punt first time. A little better this time. Marshall at the 44. Runs into his own man and goes down at the 46. Arthur Marshall. Punt of 40 yards, return of 3. Florida will have, or Georgia will have the ball. Good field position here midfield.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly,
He's the kid.
and it shows.
There's a motor oil that says it's engineered for today's smaller cars, like sports cars. But is that motor oil the first choice of the members of the Sports Car Club of America? No. Valvoline is the first choice of the members of the Sports Car Club of America. Valvoline makes the highest quality motor oil recommended by any automobile manufacturer. People who know use Valvoline.
In 1976, the Dogs and Gators met with a conference title on the line, and the first half was all Florida. But this Wes Chandler TD reception helped the Gators to a 27-13 lead. But then came one of the most controversial plays in the series. With a 7-point lead, Florida went for it on 4th and 1 at their own 29 midway through the third quarter, and the Dogs stopped them and took it in for the tying score. It was all Georgia after that. Final score, 41-27, and Vince Dooley's team went on to win the SEC championship. In 1976, Ray Goff was the Georgia quarterback that year. Greg Talley goes to the sideline. On comes redshirt freshman Preston Jones, number 14 for Georgia at the quarterback. To Hampton. Ran into a wall of Gators at the 49. Mark Murray leading the way.
This year, Ray Goff has been trying to get Preston Jones some action the first half sometime, and he feels that Greg Talley a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident, a little bit more outgoing. And Preston Jones, though, obviously the premier passer. Talley, the athlete and the leader. Jones, the passer.
Jones, 2 interceptions, 2 TDs, completed about half of his passes. Hampton gives it to Marshall, pitches it back, flea flicker. Preston Jones throwing on the run, incomplete. Florida was there all the way. Hampton to Marshall to Jones to the incompletion.
And they're looking for Sean Cummings deep on that razzle-dazzle.
Some boos coming up from the Bulldog fans. You're a hero if that works and a goat if it doesn't.
The throw back to Jones. Huey Richardson's after him. Strong enough and smart enough to just unload the football. I think they were saying the boos are coming from Florida fans. They want intentional grounding.
And I think some Bulldog fans thought there was pass interference, but the ball had already gone by. The quick out goes incomplete at the 48. Rodney Hampton, the intended receiver. Good penetration by the Gators. Remember, this is the #1 defensive football team in the country. If you don't believe it, ask Preston Jones.
You know, and Gary Darnell's done a fine job. He's done a fine job wherever he's been. He was most recently at Wake Forest with Bill Dooley. Came in and gave up an average of 10 points per game less than the previous year.
Hester's 4th punt, averaging 42.7. He stopped them inside the 15 every time. Another high punt. It's going to drop at the 5. This one bounces into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback, the first from Hester all day long. And this will be the best field position for Florida to start a drive yet out at their own 20-yard line. Next week, we'll be following Joey Hester and the Georgia Bulldogs back to Athens for the annual clash with Auburn. I mean, Georgia, if anybody finishes the season with a murderer's row, it's always Georgia. It's Florida, and then Auburn, and then Georgia Tech. Next week, the Tigers to Athens. The St. Johns River, adjacent to the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. The only person in town who's not in here today. How does he get the cable out to his boat? Donald Douglas throwing complete to the 23-yard line. Emmitt Smith, the receiver. We're talking about field position, Tim.
Exactly. They haven't had, this is their best they've had, best start they've had all afternoon. But beyond field position, what they got is a pressure defense coming after them. And they feel like they've got a little bit of a wounded beast on offense because I don't think they're confident in Douglas's ability to throw the ball. So they're going to lay back their ears.
Here comes Georgia again. They hit him when his arm was in motion. Mo Lewis once again. The second time, he's got to the arm of Douglas. Douglas wanted to take it deep. They'll call it incomplete. Stacy Simmons was the intended receiver, but 57 Mo Lewis was right there for the second time today.
10 sacks on the year, and he can really come. One of the best linebackers in the SEC. Scoots around the protection. Looked like Cedric Smith was trying to blow him out, keep him out of there. Steps out, tries to help, but he just sheds Smith. And Donald Douglas has taken too long to get rid of the football. Once he makes the decision, it's leaving his hand.
Third down, 6 from the 24. Douglas, now this is what he does best, is sprint out and throw it. And this one is complete and then dropped at the 37-yard line. The official indicating, I believe, a reception out there. A gain of 11 yards. Could the whistle have sounded? They're indicating the pass was complete. And if so, it'll be a first down Florida. Terrence Barber, the receiver. That's the call. First down, Gators.
He scoots on the corner, and I think he throws the ball best when he's moving. There's nothing wrong with that. Terrence Barber makes the catch. Ben Smith cracks him. Matt McCormick all over George Wynn there, and the ball had come out.
Well, they're saying it was a completion, then a fumble, then a recovery, and thus Florida ball at the 37-yard line. Emmitt Smith right up the middle to the 39-yard line. That's what he does. 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, and then wham, 24 yards.
I'd let him rest a little bit, too, huh? He promises to do this. Let's watch that offensive line work now. Little pull by Mark White, number 60. Glenn Neely, number 70, maintaining control, and now he's going. Once he gets downfield, just get a piece of him. Grab a hold. Don't try to knock him off his feet. He's just too strong down below. He'll shed you and keep going.
First and 10 from the 39-yard line. Lomack in motion. Willie McClendon hit at the line of scrimmage, lost a couple. Big play by Robert Bell. Emmitt Smith in the 2 games, 87 and 88, averaged 57 yards a game against Georgia. Today, 52 yards and only 9 carries, and we have 10 minutes to go in the second quarter for Emmitt Smith.
To bring up that average, all you have to do is rip off a big one, and all of a sudden your average is 5 yards higher. So, and you have to plan on that happening. He's going to get you every once in a while.
Second down, 12 after the 2-yard loss. McClendon trying the middle. Back to the original line of scrimmage, about the 38-yard line. 6th carry of the day for McClendon. He has 24 yards.
And Steve Greer, who coaches the defensive line for Georgia, has done a fine job. He was an All-American there back in 1969. He's worked with Goldberg, and Bill didn't need much help, but Robert Bell and Hiawatha Berry have come along, and he's got a lot of freshmen playing. And Gary Darnell, he's proud of his defense. When he talks about them, his eyes start to glow. But now he's got to spend a little bit of time worrying about the offense.
Third down 9. Will they have Donald Douglas throw it? Nothing good has happened on 3rd and long so far. And he falls down. Nothing good happens again. He slips on the turf back at the 44-yard line. Well, Georgia's starting to drool when it's 3rd down long.
And this is exactly the position you want to stay out of. If you're going to throw the ball, Whitey and Jordan would like to throw it on 1st down. Go ahead and take that chance on 1st down when Georgia might be playing a more zone look.
but they're going to be coming after him on 3rd and long.
Marshall's at the 10. Rome hits the punt. Everybody going to stay away from it. It bounces out of bounds at the 17-yard line. So the worst starting field position for Georgia today. Only a 27-yard punt, but effective.
Well, the weather around here can get messy. So people protect their homes with Georgia Pacific building products. Our hardboard siding puts the toughest possible protection between a house and a downpour. And GP Summit Roofing can handle 30 years of weather guaranteed, from siding and roofing to molding and doors. Every GP product has superior performance built in. So when you're shopping for building materials, ask for GP. That's all you need to know.
Donald Douglas, 4 of 8, 35 yards, 1 interception, and he's frustrated today on 3rd down.
Yes, he is, and I think that the idea is you have to use what a guy does best, and Donald Douglas is a threat to run the football. He can hurt you throwing it, but what would scare me most as a defensive coordinator is him tucking it and running, and they're going to take more advantage of that ability later in the game.
1st and 10 from the 17. Talley to throw. It is complete to the 22-yard line. That's Preston Jones. Check that, the quarterback who replaced Talley, and Kirk Warner with the reception. So Preston Jones gets his first completion of the day.
That's Frank Orgel down in the middle of that defense. Of course, Frank was a defensive coordinator at South Carolina and spent 5 years with Pat Dye at Auburn. Talking to that group about things that are going on, things that they maybe haven't prepared for, that Florida hasn't shown before, different blocking schemes, trying to get everything straight.
2nd down 5 from the 22. Here's Hampton to the 23, and not much more. Hampton 8 carries today for 24 yards. Brad Culpepper, number 50, made the stop. Culpepper, the sophomore from Tallahassee, Florida.
You know, and he had knee surgery in the fall, and he's replacing Jeff Roth, and who was a great player for Florida for a number of years. And this young man is the short, powerful, quick nose guard, and he's going to be a real force as time goes on. 6'2", 250 sophomore right now.
3rd and 3 from the 24. Double tight ends for Georgia. Hampton goes in motion. Preston Jones looks that way to throw the ball. It is complete to Hampton for the 1st down. A toss of only about 5 yards, but effective. Ephesians Bartley makes the stop. Hampton makes his first reception of the day. Preston Jones is a classic quarterback in today's size. The pros like this if he has a good career. He's 6'3", 220 from Anderson, South Carolina. He's mobile enough, but his weapon is his right arm.
He had a problem with that in the spring, broke his wrist, and it really affected his progress in terms of assimilating this Georgia offense.
Pitch to Hampton, right side. Good penetration by Moore, cutting back inside, and Hampton had a lot going until Moore stepped up there and forced him back inside where he was tackled by Huey Richardson.
This Florida defense, there's no real superstars on it, but what that man right here, Gary Darnell, as he sends in the defense to those guys, they've got a lot of blue-collar guys. Even Huey Richardson doesn't have the great talent, but they're game day intensive, and when they come to play, and they'll intimidate you and go get you.
On 2nd down 5, Preston Jones almost picked off. He was looking for Sean Hummings. Ephesians Bartley almost got it, number 44. But you see the rifle arm of Preston Jones. You can take that chance if you can throw it that hard.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can throw the out pattern or the sideline pattern to the wide side of the field. But Preston Jones is one of them. Bartley not quite there. Fain moving on the football. A well-thrown ball might have been picked off, but he gets it out there so quickly, doesn't give the defense a lot of time to react.
6:45 to go. First half, 3rd down 5 Georgia from the 34. Scoreless game from the Gator Bowl. Bob Neal, Tim Foley with you. This is complete to Marshall, who dives out here and gets the 1st down for the Bulldogs. Once again, the Bulldogs showing balance. 12 passes and 10 runs today.
Well, if you're going to move the ball on this Florida defense, you're not going to beat them to death. That's for sure. you know, Auburn found that out in their boxing match last week, just slugging it out. And you've got to use some finesse somewhere along the line to take it down the field, and that was a good read by Preston Jones.
Hampton tries the right side again to the 46-yard line. Kerry Watkins comes up to make the stop, and you really get a sense of the quickness of this Florida defensive team. They get over to the spot very, very quickly.
Pursuit is something that is paramount in any defensive coordinator's mind, especially when you've got a back by Rodney Hampton. You know, one missed tackle and the guy goes all the way. So you need to get there. You need to get there. Don't ever take for granted that somebody else has got it.
Second down, 7 from the 46. Marshall goes in motion. Jones under pressure. What a catch in the crowd by Arthur Marshall. First down, Bulldogs at the 45-yard line of Florida. Jerry Odom shot right up the middle into Preston Jones' face, but he got it off, and a nice catch by Marshall.
Watch number 57 right of your screen there. He's going to blitz through that hole, and he's going to be in Jones's face. Marshall goes up and makes the catch, and the idea, the mindset of the Gator defense is this. If they catch a ball in front of me, that may be the last play they play today. You want to make them remember that.
Very unlike Georgia in the past. You see the difference. Now they're going upstairs long. Marshall can't catch up to it. Marshall had the inside position on the defensive back, Richard Fain, but the ball was overthrown.
And he looked uncertain also. He didn't really ever make a move toward the post. That was almost designed as if they were expecting a 3 deep and they were trying to keep it down the hash mark. The other thing that Georgia and Ray Goff, George Hafner, the offensive coordinator for Georgia, want to do is they want to keep that Florida defense loosened up. They don't want them clamping everything that's short.
Second down, 10 from the 45-yard line. Scoreless game still. 5:12 to go first half. Jones tosses it over the middle. It is complete. With the ball is number 37, Brian Cleveland, who takes it to the 27-yard line. Kerry Watkins make the stop, a gain of 17 yards. And Cleveland, who had 14 receptions coming into this ball game, they like to toss it to him. Florida applies pressure.
Florida coming upfield. Good job of blocking by the Georgia front. And a missed tackle by Gottfried Miles, and scoots up the field. There he goes, Brian Cleveland. Nice catch and a good run after the catch. Wrap him up. If they complete the pass there, just wrap him up. Line up again.
From the 28-yard line, Preston Jones throwing again. Incomplete at the 18-yard line. 11 plays in this drive. Intended receiver, Sean Hummings, the junior. Slow to get up, Alfonso Ellis, who's been nicked up off and on all year for Georgia, the fullback who trades spots with Brian Cleveland over there on that side of the offensive backfield.
He had arthroscopic surgery early in the year and had a hamstring problem. And as a freshman, we saw him run very well against Florida. And a real force as far as clearing the way for Hampton.
We'll keep you posted on the scores all afternoon long. Purdue holds on to their 7-0 lead over Northwestern.
Lighten up, big boy.
Second guy, you had some great games against Northwestern, as I recall, when you played at Purdue. From the 28, that's on the outside. Hampton, not much happening. He gets to the 23-yard line before he goes down. Gain of about 5.
I like Hampton. You know, I like him as a runner. He's quick and clever. I like him as a receiver. He comes out of the backfield with some enthusiasm, as if he wants to catch the ball. Good hands. Another thing I like about him is he came in against Ole Miss. He had surgery a week before. He's a team guy. He's unselfish. You know, he's not concerned about what's going to happen in the NFL and all that stuff. He's doing the best he can today to win.
And he's $1 million property. Make no mistake about it. Sports Illustrated calls him the prototype NFL back of the 90s. Time out on the field. Preston Jones under pressure. Just has to run out of bounds. He ran out of time and ran out of ground. It was Tim Paulk, 99, chasing him, loss of 6. Well, you see why one of the reasons they're the #1 defense in America.
And a great drop by Ephesians, one of our favorite names, Bartley, back into the flat that wiped out any chance that Jones had of throwing it short. Watkins was there over the top. Fine job of coverage by the Florida defense.
John Casey, number 3, 17 out of 22 this year. His longest one's a 53. He is having an exceptional year. The artificial turf, he says, causes him to concentrate more. Let's see how he does this time with the left foot. This would be the first score of the game, and it is! A 46-yard field goal, and Georgia draws first blood.
Cape Hatteras and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Hatteras means surf casting for bluefish, and man, do they love to fight. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place and Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey, guys, this doesn't get any better than this.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
You got a thirst.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
You know what you need.
Give me the ball.
Fluids and minerals fast.
Give me the ball.
Energy for hard-working muscles.
Gatorade.
Nothing better. Give me some of that Gatorade.
Last Saturday's emotional 10-7 win over Florida, one of the most memorable finishes in Auburn history. But more importantly, kept the Tigers in the hunt for the SEC crown. Next week, they'll travel to Athens to meet their oldest rival, the Georgia Bulldogs. Don't miss the key SEC battle next Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, here on the home of SEC football, TBS. John Casey's 46-yard field goal. Georgia leads 3-0 with 3:46 to go in the first half. Casey comes back and knocks it out of the back of the end zone, and Florida will come out to the 20 with one of their better starts. There is a penalty marker on the field on the near sideline here. I don't know if anybody's seen it, including the officials, except our spotter, Kim Anderson, who sees all. I don't know if an official dropped it accidentally or not. Looked like the kicking team was offsides. We may have to back it up 5 and do it all over again. Nobody's aware of it until now.
The kicking team was offsides. We're going to replay the kickoff.
By the way, speaking of John Casey with his 46-yard field goal, his 18th of the season, ties him for 3rd with Kevin Butler on Georgia's single-season mark of field goals. Kevin Butler had 23 in 1984. That's the most ever. So John Casey really a scoring weapon for the Bulldogs this year. But also not popular at the moment.
Yeah, well,
with his players.
What were they? They were offsides?
Yeah, they were offside. I guess they're not popular with him.
Yeah,
that's a better way to say that. Look at the leg on this kid. Son of a coach from Clark Central in Athens, Georgia, nails it out of the end zone from 5 yards back. No problem.
Didn't bother him. That just gave him a chance to show off. Good job, John. Your dad's proud of you.
Coming up at halftime, the Georgia Pacific halftime report. Craig Sager will have the scores and highlights from college action. And in the booth with us today, Alex, It's My Story and I'm Sticking to It, Hawkins, and his new book, The Georgia and Florida Marching Band. Remember Alex? Great Colt days. Of course, I remember him from TBS's Football Saturday, which was even tougher than playing pro football. So we'll talk to Alex at halftime. 1st and 10 from the 20. Once again, a long wait by Donald Douglas. Demetrius Douglas got his hands on it, and the 18-year-old freshman from Florida is giving Gary Darnell and Whitey Jordan some gray hairs.
You notice when he's throwing the ball. Now watch this as it comes back. He makes his decision. He's looking. He's waiting for that back to clear. And now you notice how long it takes him before the ball, from the time he starts his motion till the ball leaves its hand. That's just too much time. People are starting to react on the football then, and there's just creates a crowd around your target.
Now you have to start saying, if Florida wants to pass in the pocket, will they go to redshirt freshman Lex Smith, who had been the starter. Emmett Smith breaking tackle. tackles and running out of bounds at the 34. First down, Florida. Gain of 14 yards.
You know, the other weapon they have from the pocket, if Georgia is pressuring, is they can trap that pass rush and run a quarterback draw, because he's dangerous carrying the football. See, he's not yet comfortable throwing the ball, and you know, you can see the way he drops back, and that'll come with time. He's a true freshman.
Emmitt Smith now with 3 catches for 24 yards to go with his 52 yards rushing. Douglas has got the strong arm. He's going deep, has a man there. It is complete at the 29-yard line to Ernie Mills. A gain of 37. You see the long arm of Donald Douglas.
That's the ball that he's going to throw best, Bob, the long ball. He's powerful. He drops it down there and lets it fly. Let's watch this. Whitey Jordan said that Ernie Mills will be a player that plays on Sunday one day. In other words, he's an NFL caliber receiver. Track star, great speed, developing concentration and hands.
First and 10 from the 29-yard line. Gators on the drive. Bulldogs leading 3-0. Emmitt Smith hit in the backfield, but he avoided the tackle and drives to the 23-yard line. Douglas finished him off. That's what Emmitt Smith can give you. The extra move, the extra yardage. He would have been stopped at the line of scrimmage, but he penetrates the Georgia 25 with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first half.
And another good job of penetration by Robert Bell, the nose guard for Georgia.
Number 8, Tony Jones is in it, a wide receiver spot for Florida. Stacy Simmons and the second down 5. Look at his lateral moves, close to the first down. 11 carries now, 62 yards for Emmitt Smith. It is a first down for Florida at the 19-yard line of Georgia. Emmitt Smith had 46 yards in 87, only 68 yards in 88, and today 62 yards with just more than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Georgia with pressure. Douglas scrambling and throwing. Looking into the end zone, Emmitt Smith and Barber were both down there. Barber goes over the fence. Fortunately for him, those are 2 orange-shirted Gator fans who caught him. He could have fallen into the hands of the enemy.
Exactly. This time Georgia locking up and coming after him. Emmitt running a pattern. Mo Lewis covering him man for man. Starts to turn up, but some running backs just don't see a pass as part of their thing. Good effort, good effort.
What's that, the parallel bar, I guess. Second down 10 from the 19. Audible from Donald Douglas. Short drop, just walks it down here to Mills, who goes up and grabs it and scores for Florida. Tim Foley, Donald Douglas was calling an audible at the line, lofted it into the end zone on a fade or toward the end zone to Ernie Mills, who just used his athletic ability to go up and get it. John David Francis puts it between the uprights at 7-3.
That's exactly what happened, Bob. Laid it out there nicely. Mills comes back, and it's a touchdown, 7-3.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American car company is Buick. And the 1990 versions of those American cars are Buick LeSabre, Buick Riviera, and Buick Electra Park Avenue. We believe there's a new symbol for quality on the great American road.
Through 6 passes, they call 13 pass plays.
Here we go, Donald Douglas. You're going to see it. It isn't pretty, but it works. One of the things that Whitey Jordan was talking to the quarterbacks about was not overthrowing the fade. Give your receiver a chance to make the play. And here Ernie Mills comes back. Chris Wilson right with him, but loses his footing, stumbles back, and then Ernie Mills stretches the ball over the goal line. Touchdown, Florida. Not a pretty throw, but he gave Ernie Mills a chance to make the play.
Just talking to Alex Vergara, statistician. Remember last week, Florida only called 13 potential pass plays in the entire game against Auburn. Douglas only threw it 6 of those times. Today, Douglas is 7 of 13 and just threw his first career touchdown pass. Marshall at the 4. To the 21-yard line goes Arthur Marshall, and the Bulldogs trail for the first time, 7-3. There's the scoring drive for the University of Florida. 7 plays, 80 yards, kept the ball 2 minutes, and it was the 19-yard pass, and just give a big gold star to Ernie Mills with 2 great catches.
2 great catches, and you know, your receiver can make you look good, and Douglas threw the ball well, threw it deep well, and I think that's what he's going to do well. That's the easiest throw to make, the long ball. Just wind up and let it fly.
Minute 40 to go in the half. Georgia at their own 21. Preston Jones rifles it incomplete to the 37-yard line, intended for Sean Hummings. Good pressure on Preston Jones again.
And I think you have to give credit to Whitey Jordan, you know, the offensive coordinator at Florida, for making those calls. You know, the play before the long pass, I might have said, he ain't throwing it anymore today. We're not taking any more chances. But Whitey lets him wind up and whip it deep, and then he throws a touchdown down here. And it's enough to loosen up that Georgia defense and get them to pay attention to the pass.
Second down 10 from the 21 for the Bulldogs. Preston Jones again can't find anybody. Now dumps it out here to his tight end, 83, Kirk Warner, short of the first down to the 27-yard line, and Preston Jones goes down under a pile of Florida's again. Huey Richardson, the Gators, led the charge there. Richardson with 9 sacks in only 6 games this year, number 90. He's been in the face of the Georgia quarterbacks regularly.
He's something, isn't he? Alonzo Johnson holds a record here at Florida, 12 sacks, and in 6 games, Huey Richardson has 9 sacks. He's a threat to break that record this year.
Third down 4, Bulldogs from their 27. Hampton tries the right side. Penalty marker down before the snap of the ball. 56 seconds remaining in the first half. So it was defense, 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 scoreless ball game until the last 2 possessions, then a 46-yard Georgia field goal and the 19-yard TD pass for the Gators.
At a dead ball foul before the ball was snapped, an offensive lineman moved, 5-yard penalty, still playing third.
They'll spot this ball at the 21-yard line now. Gary Darnell on the sideline, signaling his defensive team. 19 of the top 22 defensive players on this Gator team will be back next year.
On the #1 ranked defense in the country. I mean, they're young and they're well taught.
On the draw, Hampton, and his legs knocked from under him at the 24-yard line. Philip Johnson was there, number 64, redshirt freshman. And Georgia will have to get rid of the ball with 37 seconds left in the half.
Florida fans come to life here, and now they need Joey Hester. Georgia needs Joey Hester to come in and knock one of those home runs. And, as he's been doing, he's been pinning the Gator offense deep in their own territory with those out-of-bound kicks and high kicks. And now they need a deep one from him.
They put Simmons and Lomack back for Florida, twin safeties for Joey Hester's punt. It's one of those plays. This game, as I say, for sheer surprises, this game is probably the most exciting rivalry in America over the years. You just don't know who's going to make the big play. Bobby Etter, a kicker for Georgia, once ran a touchdown back on a bad snap as an example. So when you get inside a minute left in the half of the game, sometimes is when the big play happens here. Hester will take the snap on his 10. almost got it. Penalty marker down. Speaking of down, Stacy Simmons is just wrapped, and a penalty marker is there too. It was Dwayne Grace who came in and leveled him. Now, this is that penalty marker about penetrating the 2-yard safety zone around the punt receiver. So there's a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage, a penalty marker down at the point of reception.
And I would really vote to do away with that rule where you got to stay with outside a 2-yard circle. If the receiver can protect himself, put your hand up. You want protection? Put your hand up. All you're doing is giving people another decision to make. Now, is that 1.5 yards, 1.75 yards, or was that 2 yards? What was it? And I just think it's unnecessarily complicating that play.
And putting the officials in a lose-lose kind of situation.
Against the defense on the kick at the line of scrimmage. We also had a 2-yard violation against the receiving team. The penalty's all set. We're going to replay 4th down.
Well, all right. The clock ticks down to 28 seconds now. Al Ford explaining to you exactly what happened. So Hester will just punt it again. Boy, Dwayne Gracie, I mean, he covered that punt. He was coming about 75 miles an hour there.
That was right on time. You know, that's when you got to listen for the train whistle.
We'll probably remember.
Could be that. Could be that.
I wonder if he'll put his hand up this time if he has the same situation. Let's watch it. Simmons is 25. Lomack is 20, and they're the twin safeties back there.
And you just don't want to risk the football at this stage of a game.
Hester with another good punt. It is Lomack, and he's nailed again, and it was the same player, Dwayne Grace, who got there. Number 30. And another penalty marker goes down. Well, Gracie says, remember my name and number. I will be here again.
Right.
But the penalty marker is down. 48-yard punt, a loss of 7 on it. Great play by Georgia special teams, but I think they're going to get penalized.
And I tell you who else is going to remember Dwayne Grace's name. The guy that was supposed to be blocking him. You know, in the meeting on Sunday night, they'll be talking about him.
Dead ball foul after the play was over. A personal foul against the defense. 15, 1st down.
Personal foul on Georgia. They'll add 15 yards.
Lomack trying to make a decision. Finally just decides to go down before I lose any more yardage. Was that it? Was that the call there? That was kind of a lean in. You know, sometimes in a game like this, Bob, you make calls quickly because you know it's an emotional game and you don't want it to get out of hand.
Emmitt Smith out to the 40 with only 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Florida with a 7-3 lead. It was 0-0 until just a few minutes remained in the third quarter when Georgia got their field goal, and then the 19-yard Florida touchdown pass. And it's 7-3 Gators at halftime in the annual Border War from Jacksonville, Florida. Now here's Craig Sager in Atlanta with all the scores and highlights from around the nation.
Thanks, Bob. Top-ranked Notre Dame has already scored 42 points, and it's only halftime. We'll have highlights from South Bend in a moment on the Georgia Pacific Halftime Report.
There's something elemental in us all, a basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
There's a special breed of people who do battle day after day. Their arena, the business world. Their territory, the road. They are the Road Warriors.
Ray?
Ray
Camp.
Dave!
On the road again, huh? 3 cities this week. Meet Mary Hansen, sales director for Landmark.
Hi! And Howard Johnson is the place the Road Warrior chooses when he gets ready for the road. Again and again. Howard Johnson, home of the Road Warriors.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run. You're the champion. Gillette,
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
People who want that competitive edge also want the nutrition of 100% whole grain. But of these leading cereals, only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So only Wheaties gives you whole grain nutrition. Better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
Now with 25% less sodium than before.
Today's college football halftime report is brought to you by Georgia Pacific. Ask for Georgia Pacific building products with superior performance built in.
With the Gators leading the Bulldogs 7-3, welcome to the Georgia Pacific halftime report. Notre Dame has won 17 national championships. 7 Heisman Trophy winners have worn the green and gold. And the Fighting Irish are on a 21-game winning streak. But I don't think they've ever been favored by 54 points as they are today against SMU. Orange Bowl on the thoughts of most Notre Dame fans, hoping for a matchup with Colorado for a national championship on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, the quarterback Tony Rice ran the option, went down into the end zone for a touchdown. It was 7-0, but of course Tony Rice hasn't played a whole lot because with 42 points, they've given him a rest. SMU did score a touchdown, but they weren't able to convert the extra point. A defensive extra, Andre Jones, 90 yards after it was blocked by Nick Smith. The Irish are on top 16-6. Then in the second quarter, SMU forced to punt. Casey Kleiss. A good punt. Ricky Waters fields it on the 3. Normally you let that ball go into the end zone, but he had plenty of running room, and he goes 97 yards. That's the longest punt return in Notre Dame history. And the Fighting Irish with a very comfortable lead, 42-6. That game is just now starting the third quarter. Tennessee has lost only once this year. They're on top of Akron 21-9. Touchdown by Chuck Webb. Auburn playing Louisiana Tech. That game will start in just a few moments. Penn State in Maryland. It was 4th and goal. Tony Saka, the quarterback for Penn State, decides to fake the pass, but then he falls down. Could have gone in for the end zone. Instead, he turns the ball over to Maryland, and the Terps went down for a touchdown to take the lead 7-0, a costly mistake for Penn State. Virginia leads Virginia Tech 17-0. Virginia has won 8 games already this year. They could have a 10-win season. They're off to their best start since 1895. West Virginia and Rutgers. Major Harris, one of the Heisman Trophy candidates, looking for a good day. A week ago, West Virginia had a terrible day, fumbled 11 times, lost 5, but here a touchdown pass to Reggie Rembert, and they were on top 7-0. Rutgers came back, Jimmy Kahn, it was 7-7. Then Harris keeps the ball as Rutgers plays the option. Harris reads it perfectly and goes 59 yards, and West Virginia was on top 14-7. But Rutgers, with only 2 victories in 8 games, refuses to give up. Marshall Roberts with the most exciting play of the afternoon, a 63-yard punt return, and that gives Rutgers the lead at the half. West Virginia losing to Rutgers at 17-14 at intermission. A big game in the ACC, North Carolina State and Duke. David Brown filling in for the injured Billy Ray for Duke, throws a 15-yard touchdown pass to Dwayne Marks. The Blue Devils were up by a touchdown, but NC State came back. Anthony Barber gets the call right up the middle. Cleared out by the center. He goes 57 yards down to Duke's 11-yard line. We're on the very next play. Todd Barnes scores, and NC State, with a field goal, takes the lead of 10-7. But then Duke came back. Clarkston Hines, the All-American receiver, couple of touchdown receptions. He has broken Elmo Wright's NCAA record. Elmo Wright, the former Kansas City Chief, who started the end zone dancing, but now Clarkston Hines owns the mark in the record book. 28-10, Duke with a big lead at half. Elsewhere, Army and Boston College are having a good one. It's tied 14-all early third quarter. In the Big Ten, Iowa and Ohio State. Ohio State 6-2, hoping to go to a bowl game, which they probably will. A good play right here, capped off by Scotty Graham for a touchdown. Then the other Graham for Ohio State, no relation. Jeff Graham gets a touchdown, and Ohio State is shutting out Iowa 14-0. That game early in the second quarter. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Michigan State has a 6-point lead over Minnesota. The Northwestern Wildcats have spotted Purdue, a 32-0 lead. That game is in the second quarter as well. TCU is trailing Texas Tech 17-0. Texas Tech is off to its best start since '77. Meanwhile, Tulsa is trailing Wake Forest 16-7. Wake Forest has won only one game so far this year. Temple has a touchdown lead over East Carolina. Syracuse has a 10-3 lead over Navy. And Kentucky is taking on Vanderbilt. That game also going to start in a few moments. And at our half, it's the Florida Gators 7, the Georgia Bulldogs 3. Let's go back to the Gator Bowl for the pride of the Sunshine Marching Band.
The pride of the Sunshine Band from the University of Florida with 285 members, directed by Dr. David A. Waybright. Coming up, we'll have more from Craig Sager in Atlanta, but first a message from the University of Florida in Gainesville.
On your feet.
The research laboratory, to me, serves as a forum for the teaching process.
Dr. Howard Johnson, an immunologist in the biotechnology program at the University of Florida.
How do we enhance the immune response or the immune system so that we can fight such infectious diseases as AIDS and other diseases such as cancer? And I wanted the academic environment where I could do both the research and interact with young people and do the teaching. These young kids come in with a fresh mind and fresh ideas, and they can make a real contribution and provide real insight into what's going on in our laboratories. Teaching helps us to maintain that broader view of the mission that we're involved in. It is not a job to me. It is an exercise of joy and fun.
The promise of research is being realized at the University of Florida.
When you're a company that makes building products, you get real familiar with trees. Georgia Pacific has known these trees for over 50 years. We planted most of them. You know them as our double-sanded Southern Gold plywood or our designer paneling. But GP also has products like shingles, nails, gypsum, which don't come from trees at all. So whether the building supplies you need grow on trees or not, ask for GP. That's all you need to know.
I'm Linda Ellerby. If you talk with people around America, you'll find a lot who like the taste of Maxwell House coffee. They say it tastes rich, like these people.
I like the Maxwell House. I like the rich taste.
I like it a lot. It has a deep, rich flavor that really comes through.
Maxwell House, it has a rich flavor the way I like my coffee to taste.
It had a very rounded taste, very rich.
Oh, it's that full, rich taste that's great when I go fishing at 5 o'clock in the morning.
People say Maxwell House has a good, rich taste. Have you tasted it yourself?
Here's Joe Montana for Astrolite batteries.
This is AstroTurf. This is the Astrodome. And this is an Astrolite battery. AstroTurf and the Astrodome revolutionized football. Astrolite uses revolutionary power technology in its car batteries.
Get Astrolite, a powerful, top-quality battery at a price you can't pass up.
Astrolite.
Astronomical! Welcome back to the Prudential Halftime Report. A defensive struggle in the Gator Bowl where the Gators lead the Bulldogs 7-3. They have the only touchdown, and the game is now at the half. A couple of new faces in an old rivalry. Gary Darnell, the coach for the Florida Gators. The most valuable player so far for Georgia has to be Joey Hester. 5 punts for an average of over 45 yards. This one down by Gyps Cole at the 2-yard line. The Gators, Emmitt Smith, the nation's leading rusher. He has 66 yards on 12 carries, but he has yet to find the end zone. Had a good run right here, but they failed to get into the end zone. Meanwhile, for Florida, a good defense, but then Brian Cleveland picked up a 17-yard gain from Preston Jones, setting up Georgia's only score, and that was a field goal by John Casey from 46 yards out. Georgia had the lead, but freshman Donald Douglas showed some poise late in the second quarter. A pass to Ernie Mills, who goes into the end zone for the only touchdown so far. And Georgia on top, rather Florida on top of Georgia 7-3. And that game, as we mentioned, is at the half. Getting ready for their performance at halftime, the Redcoat Marching Band from the University of Georgia. We join them now at the Gator Bowl.
From the Wizard of Oz by the University of Georgia Redcoat Marching Band with 369 members, directed by Dr. Dwight Satterwhite. Coming up, Alec Hawkes, but first this message from the University of Georgia in Athens.
The University of Georgia. Its 13 schools and colleges offer undergraduate degrees in more than 140 major fields, 25 master's degrees, doctoral degrees in 80 areas, and a broad spectrum of programs that literally span the globe. A university that sets the pace for educational excellence. A university the Carnegie Report places among the nation's very best.
Today's young minds need the proper positive influence, a steady hand to mold them to a responsible, active member of society. The 10 institutions of the Southeastern Conference are dedicated to providing the needed guidance and direction. Today's youth are tomorrow's leaders, so the final product is one that must endure a lifetime. The Southeastern Conference, the foundation.
People who want that competitive edge also want the nutrition of 100% whole grain. But of these leading cereals, only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So only Wheaties gives you whole grain nutrition. Better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
Now with 25% less sodium than before.
There's a special breed of people who do battle day after day. Their arena, the business world. Their territory, the road. They are the road warriors.
Ray?
Ray Camp.
Dave. On the road again, huh?
3 cities this week.
Meet Mary Hansen, sales director for Landmark.
Hi.
And Howard Johnson is the place the road warrior chooses when he gets ready for the road. Again and again. Howard Johnson, home of the road warriors.
We'll be back with the second half kickoff in a moment, but first, this page from the history book, brought to you by Citco, the sign of quality. He played his college football at South Carolina. In the pros, he was a wide receiver on teams coached by both Vince Lombardi and Don Shula. As a member of the specialty teams, he was known as Captain Who. He is one of the most colorful players professional football has known. His name is Alec Hawkes. And he is at the Gator Bowl today, where he is joined by Bob Neal. And whether he was on the field getting muddy or in the locker room, he is always interesting. Here's Bob.
Number 25 in your program, number 1 in your heart, Captain Who of the Baltimore Colts. The nation just saw one of your great catches in the blue of the Baltimore Colts from the glory years with Johnny Unitas.
If there was a mud hole to fall in, I'd find it, wouldn't I?
Okay, very quickly, I've got to do this. Alex comes home late one night, like 8 o'clock in the morning, goes into Libby. Libby says, why were you out all night? He said, I really wasn't. I was sleeping in the backyard in the hammock. She said, I took the hammock down 3 weeks ago, Alex, and you said...
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, that actually happened.
Now, did you bring one of your new books, which is the title of it, and you have it in your bookcase?
Just so happens I have it in my...
Oh, look at it.
This is
you're distributing your own books, aren't you?
That's right.
Tell me about the book, what it is.
It was a very... we started out to be a Pulitzer Prize thing, and we just settled on a little less than that. Just an easy reading, humorous book, and I think women like, I think men like it, and I hope you liked it, Bob.
My son David just graduated from college, said it was the first voluntary book he's read in 5 years. That is a great review.
Now I have written one book and read one.
How hard was it to write the book for a guy like yourself?
It was a labor of love for over 3 years. Dan Jenkins encouraged me, Bob, in his restaurant, Dwight's restaurant in New York, to sit down and do a book. I said, I can't spell, I can't type, I can't punctuate, and I haven't got anything to say. He said, don't tell me that. I've had too many drinks with you. He said, sit down and discipline yourself to do it. And it was the most discipline I've ever done myself.
You know, you were one of the prototypes of the Dan Jenkins characters. As you talk about yourself in here, do you see yourself the same way?
Well, he kind of combined. Billy Clyde Puckett was a combination of Don Meredith, myself, and a little bit of Sonny Jurgensen thrown in. So I think you'll see the similarity.
You look like you're in great shape. You could be playing on special teams here today with these kids.
I'm no slower now than I was back then, Bob.
Alec Hawkins, here's his book. Hold it up for the promotion. There you go. My story, and I'm sticking to it. There are just a very few copies available. They're already raising the price just because they're so rare. Alec Hawkins' book, My Story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks, Hawk.
Thank you, Bob.
We'll be back to the Gator Bowl right after this.
Tonight, Carl Lewis, Olympic champion. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, one of the greatest female athletes of our time. And world record holder Roger Kingdom. They led the way in a year that saw 6 new world records. Track and field, the year in review. On U.S. Olympic Gold, a TBS Sports exclusive. 10:20 Eastern on TBS tonight.
It's fueled the victories of Super Bowl champions and Sandlot superstars. It's as welcome on a hot cinder track as a cold sheet of ice. It is unsurpassed at supplying fluids, minerals, and energy. It goes beyond refreshment. It produces results. It's everywhere athletes compete. It's sports. It's Gatorade.
Gatorade is thirsty. For that deep down body thirst.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son. It's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
The best a man can get.
Do you know what Magnavox has done to CD technology?
They invented it.
Sure, but you know what they did now?
They made it sound great.
Tom's right. Magnavox compact disc players have been top rated for flawless sound.
I know that.
But now, they have a 6-disc changer that lets you play up to 7 hours of uninterrupted music.
I know that, too.
And you could program it to play the songs you want in the order you want.
I already knew that.
So why don't you tell me?
Because it's fun being smarter than you.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
My man! Movies with the devil, yeah! TBS!
After the start of the 1996
From the Gator Bowl, the Georgia Bulldogs trailing Florida 7-3 on a 19-yard touchdown. Douglas, the 18-year-old freshman quarterback for Florida, 106 yards for Florida in the air in the first half on those 2 big catches, mainly on those 2 big catches by Ernie Mills. That's twice as much as they've had in the last 2 games in the air.
Against all odds. And as I said, after the preceding pass, I would have pulled the ball down and said, that's it. We're not throwing that thing anymore. But they threw it deep, and they threw a nice fade over here. Mills made a nice catch, and that's what you have to have. You have to have your leaders come up and make some big plays, because you have to take some of the pressure off of Emmitt Smith, if for no other reason, just to spread out that Georgia defense just a little bit.
Now, if you're Georgia's offense, only 3 points here. Auburn knows how tough this #1 ranked Gator defense is. What do you have to do with Georgia? They're balancing up the pass and the run, but they're still not getting it into the end zone.
Well, I think you just got to keep going at it. You got to keep going at it when you're playing against a team like Florida, just as Auburn did last week. You have to stay patient, be patient, and stay with what you do best, and eventually you're going to break something.
Let's have a look at the Gatorade first half statistics in this ball game. You see the total yards Florida, 223 to 113 for Georgia.
Well, that's standard defense for Florida. And the only thing that's a little bit different about this Florida stats, of course, as you pointed out, 100 yards through the air. Emmitt scooted free once and ripped off about a 40-yarder. With that exception, with those 2 exceptions, Georgia's played great defense too.
Deep backs for the Florida Gators. Florida won the toss at the beginning of this ball game and deferred their choice to the second half. John Casey will kick it off. Stacy Simmons Waits at his 1. Simmons out to the 30-yard line. Pretty good return by Simmons. And that's where Florida will set up first down 10, a 29-yard return. Florida's first half drives, as you see the interception, which started everybody worrying about Donald Douglas. He got onto his own and got to completing some passes later. Other than that, though, the bad field position, one of the significant things to look at Florida there in their first 3 starts.
And as you pointed out, a fine job by Joey Hester and the special teams of Georgia diving those balls inside the 10.
Florida first down 10 at the 20-yard line. Simmons in motion. Willie McClendon tries the right side. He broke 1 tackle, but not the second, and goes down at about the 32-yard line. Bill Goldberg with the stop, and there's Donald Douglas. 106 yards in the air in the first half, more than the last 2 games combined in the air.
Given a choice, I'd rather see him run the football. You know, he will develop as a passer. His motion is a little bit too long. Of course, he's just a freshman from Liberty, Texas. And he's a competitive rascal, very confident, not intimidated by all this hullabaloo around his activity.
Douglas gives it to Emmitt Smith. Penalty markers down. Smith goes down at the 37-yard line. Hiawatha Perry with the stop. Along with Tim Foley, Bob Neal with you from the Gator Bowl, just starting the second half of the 68th annual meeting between Ray Goff's Bulldogs and Gary Darnell's Florida Gators. The first time these 2 coaches have faced each other across the sidelines.
Had holding by the offense during the run. They into the run. Replay in the second down.
Of course, it didn't start out as Gary Darnell's Gators in 1989. Galen Hall was the head coach, and we certainly miss Galen. Galen was a great guy and a joy to work with, and I'm sure we'll be back in coaching soon. But Gary Darnell has taken over and done an excellent job of wiping out everything else except football. Let's concentrate and focus on what we're doing on the field.
Second down 12. Douglas over the middle. This time he completes it to the tight end, Kirkpatrick. Out near the first down marker, near the 40-yard line. Kirkpatrick coming back off an earlier season injury, a sophomore from Valrico, Florida.
That time good protection by the Gator front. Let's watch him work. Neely 70, 60 White, and Cal Dixon 59. Kirkpatrick, who is more the receiver tight end for Florida. Thomas more the blocker tight end. And he has been injured, and they do miss him when he's not in there. Especially if you have somebody, Bob, that can't. Douglas can throw the ball down the field, but that is not yet confident in feeling those receivers come open.
Emmitt Smith, right side. Georgia, penetration. Smith, no gain. It was Bill Goldberg, number 95, who got there first. Penalty marker down. Goldberg with his Darth Vader mask. Sore rotator cuff. Several nicks and bruises. Senior from originally Miami, now Tulsa.
The play's over. Late hit. First down.
Let's see if we can pick up a late hit against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Al Ford and his staff calling it very close to the vest here. They don't want anything to erupt emotionally. Goldberg diving after Emmitt Smith. I'm not sure. It must have been out of the picture. I didn't see anything in there as Mike Jones came up and made the stop.
George Wynn was in there, but likewise, I couldn't pick it up from that replay either. Nevertheless, the official did, and it puts the Gators inside Georgia territory for Donald Douglas with the tremendous speed, who gets down to the 30-yard line. They may say he stopped at about the 31, a gain of 13. Douglas with the stop. And this man's headed to a 200-yard type game. He's got 119 in the air, and now he's got...
And this is when he's the scariest for a defensive coordinator, Bob. You know, you roll out around there, he's got the ball up high, I'm not afraid. When he pulls it down, now you better get around him, because he is nifty, and he had some great runs against Auburn, took some big licks, and kept on coming.
Opened the game with an 18-yard run, got 13 that time. Here's the pitch to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, look at his feet. The quick feet of Emmitt Smith to the 23-yard line. Emmitt actually got himself turned around backwards for part of that run. He just kept moving, a little bit sideways, a little bit forward.
Great feet, and a lot of backs end up, if they go charging in there, they end up tackling themselves. They create the impetus that brings them down. Emmett kind of probes and always looking to go sideways, looking to go laterally, keeping those feet moving, as you saw, even turned around, looking downfield.
Big difference on first down yardage between the Gators and the Bulldogs. Florida leads 7-3. This is the fullback, Cedric Smith, who takes it down to about the 20-yard line.
Cedric, a senior, a real leader, was one of those members of that class where they could only sign 14 players due to probation, and every once in a while they give Cedric the ball just to remind him that they know he's still there.
21.5-yard line on the far side hash mark is the spot of the ball for Gary Darnell's Florida Gators. It'll be third down and about the length of the ball. Smith, Perry, and Daryl Smith and Emmitt Smith in the back row. The Smith tandem. Emmitt Smith hit in the backfield. He struggled forward after the initial contact. Ben Smith was the man, number 26, who came in there to hit him early. But could Emmitt Smith, we've got enough Smiths up here to start a law firm.
With the Smiths and the Douglases, we got it covered.
It's going to be fourth down, Tim.
Glenn Neely, and that's just a missed blocking assignment right there. Mark White and Glenn Neely separate, and boom, someone's sitting in the hole. That's not how it's drawn up.
The Gators going for it on fourth down at the 21. Douglas falls down but gets it to Smith. Did Smith? I don't believe he got it. Douglas fell down, handed it to Emmitt Smith, who did not penetrate the first down area, and it turns over to the Bulldogs.
Just one of those things that happen, Bob. We'll be right back after this.
Come on, along, and head for the mountains of Bush. Big, head for the mountains. It's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush. Big, Bush, big.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Portions of today's game are brought to you by Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name.
The Junkyard Dogs standing up on fourth down. Watch this penetration by Robert Bell. Goldberg's double team. Mo Lewis creating a force upfield, but then it's Mike Jones that comes in here and fills the hole as the backs lead Emmitt Smith in there. Big play by the Georgia defense. Fourth down, Douglas stumbles coming out, gets the ball to Smith. He's trying to find the handle on it and really can't concentrate on attacking the line of scrimmage, but still a big play by the Georgia defense.
Now Greg Talley returns as the second half starting quarterback for the Bulldogs. He gives the ball to Hampton. Hampton to the 37-yard line. A gain of 15 yards by Rodney Hampton, his biggest of the day. Hampton has 13 carries for 55 yards. Here's what the Bulldogs did in the first half on their possessions. The punt was really an offensive play in a lot of the ways because of the great job that Joey Hester did. The Bulldogs did get a field goal after a drive that started at the Georgia 17-yard line, a 46-yarder from John Casey. On the first down, Talley throws the interception to the 46-yard line in the arms of Ephesians Bartley, number 44.
So it's number Sean Hummings running this pattern. Ephesians Bartley, an outside linebacker that's shifted to strong safety. They had the screen set up upfield, Bob. Talley chose to throw the ball downfield, and there was nobody home there.
Quarterback mistake on the pass, and it's Florida ball. First down 10 from the 46. Douglas going to take it upstairs, down the middle, complete to the 23. The ball is loose out of the arms of Simmons. The Bulldogs have the ball back. Simmons took a mighty blow after he caught it. It came loose, and the Bulldogs have it.
Well, you talk about excitement. Here we go, that Georgia Bulldog defense getting depth. Mike Jones probably should have sat and jammed Simmons, but a good stick by Ben Smith knocks the ball loose. Matt McCormick there to dig it out. Collins in there.
On the first down, Hampton running it out here to the 28-yard line. Oh, that's Talley, who just kept the ball, runs it out here to the 28-yard line.
Crossed up in the signals. The backs thinking it was called to the left. Talley feeling it was called, excuse me, to the right. Talley thinking it was called to the left, and he took it and went. Talley is not the kind of quarterback that makes obvious errors. He'll make physical mistakes, but that last possession, that was his throw in the wrong spot.
Talley throwing it again. Marshall is open again. Out near midfield to the 47-yard line. Will White makes the stop, a gain of 18 yards, and Marshall now has 5 catches for 70 yards.
And this is, of course, what they like about Greg Talley. A little fake to Hampton, and then he comes right back at you, throwing it right back in there, feign there. Marshall makes the move inside and courageously dives for the ball, comes up with it.
In case you're wondering, that's pronounced Hepzibah, Georgia. Talley goes long, wanted to go to Hummings, but saw the double coverage. This time, having been burned once, threw it out of bounds. Uga, the Bulldog mascot, and the Bulldog mascot. And
never a dull
coach.
Yeah, and the Bulldog coach. Never a dull moment for Ray Goff on the sideline. When you've got a young team like he does, there's always going to be things leaking through the cracks. And
second down 10. Hampton tries the middle. Successfully. Drives to the 44 of Florida. Culpepper finally making the stop. A gain of 9 for Hampton. Hampton now with 64 yards on 14 carries. Smith has 73 on 15 carries.
Just looks smooth, doesn't he? Not that darting back, but just kind of slides and drifts through those defenders.
This will be third down, about 1. Talley's going to throw on the third down. He wobbles it to Hampton at the 20, to the 15. The dying quail falls into the arms of Rodney Hampton for a gain of 29 yards on a third down 1 call.
Well, George Hafner and Ray Goff have talked about this one. They must know the kind of coverage that they expect in short yardage or they get from Florida, and they decide to take a chance. Good throw by Greg Talley.
At the 15-yard line now, Florida leads 7-3. Hampton tries the left side, has some room. Tripped up, but he gets down near the 10-yard line, a gain of roughly 5 yards for Hampton. I thought he was going to get more out of that.
As they've gotten outside, they've gotten around Huey Richardson. You don't do that very often. Hampton just lost his footing.
Remember, 83,000 here at the Gator Bowl, and they're divided equally. It's one of the things that really brings the character and excitement to this game. A 50-50 allotment of tickets here in Jacksonville. Second down 5 at the 10, just outside the 10. Hampton goes right side. Cuts it inside. Hampton, touchdown, Georgia! Well, this drive started after Simmons fumbled the pass reception. Matt McCormick recovered the fumble, and then Georgia drove for the touchdown. It's 10-7 Georgia, 6:48 to go. Third quarter from Jacksonville.
Who uses Valvoline motor oil? People like leading race car driver Al Unser Jr.
If a driver ever told you, no, I don't get scared, I'm not scared, he's lying to you. The technology that goes into the Indy car is second to none. Over half the field at Indy is using Valvoline. If there was a motor oil out there that was better, it would be in my car.
People who know use Valvoline.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the November True Value of the month is the electronic stud sensor by Zircon. It's non-magnetic and senses wall density, not nails. And flashing red lights indicate the stud center. During November, get the Zircon stud sensor for just $9.44, where you see the True Value of the month banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Well, this is a great job by the offensive right side of the Georgia line. Watch this thing happen here as it develops. You got Nicky Pitts is off your picture right now. Russell DeFore is going to pull and get a beautiful block right here, and then Will White misses Rodney Hampton, which certainly isn't unusual, and touchdown Georgia. Let's watch it happen. DeFore looks back, cuts down Timmy Paulk. Will White is there. Good job, Whitten. I just grab a hold of something, but Hampton makes a lot of people miss. Payne can't get there in time. Touchdown, Georgia.
Hampton gets the touchdown run, but two big plays in the air keyed that job. An 18-yarder to Marshall and a 29-yarder on third down to Hampton. Casey gets it out of the end zone again. Let's look at that touchdown run by Hampton one more time.
Look at it from a little different level. Number 67, Russell DeFore, Alfonso Ellis. It's a nice block, and now Will White is there. Grab a hold of something. Make the tackle.
Rodney Hampton has 79 yards on the ground today and the touchdown, and 34 yards catching passes, including a 29-yard pass reception on a third down one on that 76-yard drive. That's Carlton Miles, who's down on the field for Florida. Well, they're about the 27-yard line to the Florida support staff trainers looking him over. 6:48 to go, third quarter. It is now Georgia 10-7. Most of the first half went scoreless, scoring late, and now Georgia has taken the lead.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
You got a thirst.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
You know what you need.
Give me the ball.
Fluids and minerals fast.
Give me the ball.
Energy for hard-working muscles.
Gatorade.
Nothing better. Give me some of that Gatorade.
There's a motor oil that talks about world-class protection. Catchy phrase, but Valvoline is recommended by name in the owner's manuals of these world-class cars. The other motor oil is not. Whatever you drive, Valvoline makes the highest quality motor oil recommended by any car manufacturer. Around the world, people who know use Valvoline.
Normally sane people. These are the people who are your bankers, your doctors, your lawyers, your next door neighbor.
Right. They just take Saturday off from rational thinking and have fun.
10-7 Georgia leads. Emmitt Smith trying to answer for Rodney Hampton. Penalty marker is down in the Florida backfield. a slight edge to Hampton in this tailback battle. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. Hampton has the touchdown and a few more yards than Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith with 73 on 16 carries. Hampton with 79 on 16.
Holding the offensive lineman on the run, 10 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Watch John Durden, 72.
The right side of your screen here, number 72. That's number 75, Richard Staroweski. Cedric Smith driving in there. And Durden trying to get a hold of Mo Lewis. Mo told on him.
1st and 20 from the 10. Emmitt Smith tries the middle. To about the 13, Demetrius Douglas was there. Emmitt Smith has shared running back time with Willie McClendon and Dexter McNabb out of the tailback spot, but Rodney Hampton has been in every offensive play for the University of Georgia today.
They're both great backs. I mean, obviously Emmitt Smith holds 38 University of Florida records, and very productive career.
2nd down, 17. Douglas to take it upstairs over the middle. It's picked off on one of the best interceptions you'll see. Ben Smith with his 7th pick of the year. Ben Smith is the man who did not make the final 10 Thorpe Award candidate list for the best defensive back in America, and he ought to be on it.
This time Douglas should go to the outside. It's open on the outside. He lays it down the middle. Smith goes way into the air. Wonderful catch. Beautiful catch. Showing his athletic ability.
Georgia at the 36 of Florida, leading 10-7. Talley fakes the handoff. He takes it right on the sideline, but 83 Kirk Warner cannot get to it. There's Ben Smith. We talked about the fourth award. He was one of the 20 candidates early in the year. Then they narrowed the list to 10. Now you're looking in white there at the top 5 candidates. Ben Smith did not make the top 10. He now has 7 interceptions, 62 plus what he's had today tackles, and 12 plus what he's had today passes broken up, and yet not one of the top 10. As Coach Ray Goff said, he ought to be. 2nd and 10 from the 37 for the Bulldogs. Talley finds Kevin Maxwell, who dives to the 22-yard line. Will White with the stop. Penalty markers down. Gain of 15.
Keeping his cool, rolling to the left. Patient, look back inside, wait till the receiver pull it foul.
That's a half the distance, automatic first down, personal foul against Florida.
Talley comes out of here to the left. A good mix between the pass and the run for Georgia. Fires it inside to Kevin Maxwell, and Maxwell is down. Timmy Paul comes in late. Kind of an undisciplined move, something that you just don't want to have happen.
Hampton to about the 8-yard line of the Gators. Pat Moore making the stop. Remember, the Florida Gators are the #1 defensive football team in America coming into this game. They're averaging giving up a total yards in a game of about 214. Georgia has that many today, and we have 4:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. From the 8, 2nd down 7. Hampton at the 5 to the 2.5-yard line. Rodney Hampton. Will White, Pat Moore combining for Florida.
You know, one of the things that people talked about, Bob, before this game was the kind of mystical control Georgia seemed to have over Florida, winning 14 out of 17. But they talked about Vince Dooley not being here any longer. Would that make a difference?
3rd down 1 for the first down. 3rd down 2 for the touchdown. Hampton airborne. Touchdown. Casey in for the point after touchdown with 3:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's good. Georgia 17-7. Give a big assist on that touchdown run by Hampton to Ben Smith, who picked off the Donald Douglas pass to set it all up.
Let's watch it again. Up close and personal with Rodney Hampton. You hear the engines warming up, and here they go. Boom. Jerry Odom just not enough height to get there. Ray bringing it home.
I'd say that he brings emotion to the sideline. Hampton today, 90 yards, 2 second-half touchdowns. 25 minutes had gone by in this ball game in the first half with neither team able to penetrate the other one's goal line or the crossbars.
Yep. And Jerry Odom was almost there too soon. He got there too soon, really couldn't get up in the air, and Hampton's momentum took him into the end zone.
Now the Georgia fans are rocking and rolling here as their team has taken a 17-7 lead. Deep backs for Florida are Womack and Simmons. Womack is 20, Simmons is 25. Casey has been kicking it out of the end zone today. One of the best kickers in America, an All-American candidate in my view. About 2 yards deep. Womack says we'll take it out to the 20. Georgia with a 10-point lead, 3:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Georgia scoring drive, a short one after the Ben Smith interception. Hampton goes airborne for 3 yards to score the touchdown. 5 plays, 37 yards.
You know, and sometimes it's frustrating, Bob, to keep the ball on the ground. It's not as much fun for the fans. You like to see the ball flying through the air, but you also want to protect the football on offense, especially when you got a defense like Florida's got. Protect the ball. Don't take unnecessary chances. Now they're going to have to take some chances.
Emmitt Smith bottled up at about the 24. Now this is really where the Bulldogs want to be. Ray Goff said yesterday as he talked to us, he says, you know, we think Donald Douglas is a very talented guy, but we know this. We know he's 18 years old. He has very little game experience. Had thrown last week only 6 passes in an entire game. He says if we make him throw the ball, because he's 18, he'll probably make some mistakes. It's what Ray Goff hoped would happen, and it has happened in this game today.
See, you can't, as a coach, you cannot choose where the young man's going to put the ball. You can try to teach him where the safest place is, but then in the end, it's his decision.
2nd down 7, he goes to his success target today, Ernie Mills. Donald Douglas completes this one for 17 yards. Mills has 3 catches for 73, including the 19-yard touchdown grab late in the first half.
He looks so much more comfortable. You know, when he drops straight back, he looks a little stiff, carries the ball high, and he releases it like that. When he's moving, he looks like he's more on the move, you know, fast break basketball type of let's go.
Not bad numbers for Donald Douglas today, but of course they're negated by the 2 interceptions. Going to go to the left side this time, inside Georgia territory, and out of bounds goes Kirkpatrick, and there's that strong arm and a 20-yard gain. I like the attitude of Douglas. He does come back firing after adversity.
Confidence, lack of confidence is not his problem. Kirkpatrick takes it inside, looks like he's in traffic. Douglas turns and very deliberately throws the ball in there. Wham! Nice catch by Kirkpatrick. Good throw by Donald Douglas.
Douglas 178 yards in the air today to go with his 25 yards rushing. That's over 200. Douglas is going to turn it up and run it again, but this time he does not get back to the line of scrimmage. Loses about a yard to the 43. Robert Bell with the stop, Georgia's nose guard.
He had checked to the right play. He had gotten to the right play. He took everybody straight down the field, blitz coming from Georgia, but he just didn't have any time to set up.
2:37 to go, third quarter, 17-7 Georgia. Scoreless for 25 minutes, and we've seen some action. Alec Hawkins, who was with us at halftime, said, and he's seen many football games in his college and pro career, said he didn't know if he'd ever seen as exciting a first half, and at the time with only 3 points scored. It's been an interesting ball game.
You have to appreciate defense, good defense.
Emmitt Smith says, timeout. Emmitt didn't like the look of what the alignment was. He knows he's got an 18-year-old quarterback in there, and he wisely called timeout, and they'll go to the sidelines.
The weather around here can get messy, so people protect their homes with Georgia Pacific Building Products. Our hardboard siding puts the toughest possible protection between a house and a downpour. And GP Summit Roofing can handle 30 years of weather guaranteed, from siding and roofing to molding and doors. Every GP product has superior performance built in. So when you're shopping for building materials, ask for GP. That's all you need to know.
Recently, a popular photography magazine suggested you minimize red eye with a marker. We suggest a camera. The new Olympus Infinity Zoom 200. The zoom camera that significantly reduces red eye.
Tonight on TBS, Day 8 of the Duke, upholding law and order in the untamed West. John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara, Rio Grande. 8:05 Eastern on TBS tonight.
Okay, as Georgia lines up, Florida lines up, get in place. We're gonna let's let them line up. There you go. Now watch number 53 on the left of your screen. Demetrius Douglas make a call. Emmitt Smith sees something that he doesn't like, or he's having a problem hearing, so he just makes a timeout call. Now's no time for mental error.
I know what he said. I could read his lips. I could read Demetrius Douglas' lips. He said, they're going to throw it out there in the flat to Emmitt. I'm going to intercept it. Emmitt heard that and said, hold it, timeout.
Yep, that play's no good anymore.
So they call this one. Douglas tucks it up, gets near the line of scrimmage again. Brewer with the stop for the Bulldogs. He's a true freshman, 18 years old himself, from LaGrange, Georgia.
65 pounds and a superior athlete. Look at him throw Glenn Neely. They're going after each other. Neely did his job, held him off for as long as he could. Then a nice job of coverage by the Georgia secondary prevented Douglas from throwing it downfield. And you can bet they're telling him now to be careful. If you see it, let it go. If it's not there, run.
One of 12 true freshmen for Georgia getting valuable game experience this year. This is 3rd and 12. Douglas can't find anybody, tucks it up. So about the 34, Douglas would needed to have crossed the 31 for the first down. Bell makes the stop. It'll bring up 4th down, and they spot the ball at the 34. That would make any field goal attempt about a 51-yarder. And remember, John David Francis is having a struggling year. His long is 37. So now that you've got the natural turf, the decision just can't go with a kicker like it would last year. So Darnell says, we'll go for it. It is complete to Emmitt Smith, who dropped the ball. It is incomplete. Georgia holds Florida as they go for it on 4th and 3 from the 34.
Douglas gets it to the man he's supposed to. Emmitt Smith fires it up, but you see the ball is low and the ball is pointed down. Emmitt couldn't hang on to the football, and the catchable ball. I think Florida had to make that move. They had to go for it.
So Georgia holds, takes over on downs at their 34. Here comes Hampton. He gets out to about the 37. That's reminiscent of that 76 game when Florida went for it on 4th and 1 on their own 29. We showed you a highlight of it earlier in this ball game. The Dogs stopped them, took the ball in for what then turned into be a tying score. So those can be very big turnarounds.
They can, and the coaching staff in Florida just feeling this way. You know, they're 10 points away from us right now. We're not really churning up any yardage on the ground or through the air. What we need to do is we need to take advantage of every opportunity we get. We may not get another one soon. Let's go for it. Let's try to make it happen.
That's the end of 3 quarters of play with the Bulldogs leading 17-7 from the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville.
It's an ancient art, practiced today much as it was long ago. Nature's grains, pure water, a small, flavorful flour, artfully blended to create one simple, special product. It's older than the written word, as basic as bread. And for 80 million responsible Americans, it means refreshment, friendship, and life celebrated. It's beer, a good part of the good life. A message from Anheuser-Busch.
There's a motor oil that says it's engineered for today's smaller cars, like sports cars. But is that motor oil the first choice of the members of the Sports Car Club of America? No. Valvoline is the first choice of the members of the Sports Car Club of America. Valvoline makes the highest quality motor oil recommended by any automobile manufacturer. People who know use Valvoline.
I always carry my Lanier Pocket Protege so I can record my ideas anywhere. Because I get some of my best ideas in showers.
Call 1-800-241-1706.
Two foursomes can use Lanier's new digital dictation system, so you can save your company over $15,000 a year in executive time. That's a lot of golf balls.
But it doesn't cost a lot of golf balls.
15 minutes remaining in the 68th meeting between the Bulldogs and the Gators. The annual border war in the city by the river, Jacksonville, in northern Florida. Rodney Hampton out to the 39-yard line. Jerry Odom with the stop. Hampton getting up near 100 yards here with a full quarter of action left. Hampton also has a couple of touchdowns. And it's time to see what you know about SEC football, brought to you by Valvoline Motor Oil. People know use Valvoline. Who was the last player to rush for more than 200 yards in one game against Florida? Jackson, Alexander, Walker, or Bullwood? Answer after this play. I'll bet you've already guessed it. 3rd down 5. And a penalty marker before the ball is snapped. Let's check the call, and we'll give you our trivia answer. I know you're on the edge of your chairs. It's against Georgia. Illegal procedure, 5-yard penalty. The answer is Bo may know football, but Herschel knows 200 yards versus Florida. Twice. 219 and 238 yards. Now of the Minnesota Vikings.
He seems to be having fun up north.
Said he was devastated earlier when he knew the Cowboys didn't want him, but he's happy to be at Minnesota because of their chances for glory this year. 3rd down 10 from the 34. Tally wanted to go to Sean Hummings out at midfield. It's incomplete, and Georgia fails to take advantage of pretty good field position on the 4th down failure of Florida. Now the Gators will come in, and Hester will punt it one more time. This will be the 6th punt of the day for Joey Hester.
The shadows getting long behind Stacy Simmons. Terrence Barber back there now.
Barber only has 3 punt returns all year. Lomack had been back there. Florida trying to get something going, trailing 17-7.
They're looking into the sun.
And this one's about up as high as the sun. It's going to get inside the 22. Now bounce back out here to the 20. Oh, that's a pretty good job of punting by Hester. Penalty marker is down. A 46-yard punt by Hester. But there is a penalty marker down around the 34-yard line of Florida. Been a lot of yellow markers in this ball game today. A plethora of penalties, as someone said last week. Couldn't have been me. Al Ford gets a talent fee if he makes about 5 more appearances here.
At a clip, just to run that team half the distance, 1st down.
Well, the field position and the starting area for Florida goes back to the 10-yard line. Here's Craig Sager in Atlanta.
Thanks, Bob. A pivotal game in the WAC. Both teams 7-2 on the season, Air Force and BYU. The opening kickoff taken by Stacy Corley of BYU on the 1. A member of the BYU track team, nobody's going to catch Corley. He goes the distance, 99 yards. The opening kickoff, 7-0. Back to Bob and Tim.
The first down, Emmitt Smith, left side. Driving out here close to a first down behind a surge of blocking by the left side of that Florida offensive line. Now Emmitt Smith with 91 yards. Rodney Hampton has 94.
It's very unusual for a team to be superior in rushing and passing. Obviously, Florida, a running football team, and when the heat comes down to it, when somebody's got to make a play, it's got to be the person they designed this offense around. Emmitt's got to come up with a play here somewhere in the fourth quarter.
He gets about 5 or 6 on this one. Norm Cowens with a stop for the Bulldogs. The Georgia passing game today has been non-threatening. Preston Jones 50 yards in the air, 96 yards in the air for Talley, 1 interception.
Right, but a big 3rd-and-1 play where he threw that little flat enough pass to Hampton. They use it effectively. They never wanted to have, I think what they wanted to achieve, and Hafner and Ray Goff wanted to achieve a balance in their offense.
2nd down 4, Gators. Emmitt right, Emmitt left, Emmitt up the middle, Emmitt first down at the 34. Getting the workhorse going here. 21 carries for Emmitt Smith and 103 yards. First time in his career that he's broken the 100-yard barrier against the Georgia Bulldogs. Scores from around the nation.
Emmitt seems to be limping a little bit as he leaves the field, and that also could be the reason why he's been in and out of the football game in the first 3 quarters.
12:21 remaining in this game. Georgia leading by 10, 17-7. Donald Douglas in a heap of trouble, and down he goes at the 29. Hiawatha Ferry, the senior from Winder, with his 3rd sack of the year.
Trying to get a pre-read of that defensive set back. Then right away you can see his eyes coming down off the coverage onto the rush. Barry creating pressure. I think what you're going to find Florida doing soon is moving Donald Douglas. Get him out of the pocket. Get him on the corner. Let him be a threat to run.
If they don't pay short, 2nd down 14. He's going to run it himself this time. Not much there, though. Just back to the original line of scrimmage to the 35. Torrey Evans, another one of these Georgia true freshmen, the kitty core from the Bulldogs.
George Wynn is right in the face of Terrence Barber. Trailing him with deep help. Staying on that outside hip. Playing him up tight. Chris Wilson there to make the interception if the ball is thrown inside.
Speaking of balance, Florida has 178 yards in the air, 178 on the ground in this game, trailing 17-7 on 3rd down 9. Donald Douglas throwing on the run. It is complete. About 4 yards to Stacy Simmons. Make that Tony Lomax to 20 with the reception. So they'll punt it away. Hank Roan comes in. Arthur Marshall goes back to take the punt. With 10:50 remaining. Roan's a senior from Gainesville. Drives Marshall back inside his 20. Marshall's got it again. Penalty markers are down behind the play. And Marshall's out at the 30. The infraction committed after Marshall had already taken the ball upfield. 42-yard punt, 11-yard return. And the Bulldogs, leading by 10, will get an opportunity to keep it on the ground.
During the run back, got a clip, get the receiving team, be half the distance, be 1st down 10.
So they'll mark it off back near the 10-yard line, and Georgia will begin their drive there, leading by 10 with 10:35 remaining.
Let it with someone who shows how much they care.
I'm not gonna go anywhere without you.
A smile, a tone of voice, and the willingness to try. When you love to fly, it shows.
Portions of today's game are brought to you by Infiniti, a new concept in luxury cars. Infiniti.
Year of adversity for Florida. Their coach resigns, the quarterback is suspended, NCAA investigation. The players who really get hurt are the ones left to play. Here's what Brad Culpepper said about that prior to the game.
One thing I do hope is that this, the cloud that's over games right now is cleared, because we're a bunch of good kids, and we've got great coaches, and nobody who is in Gainesville right now is crooked or done anything crooked. And it's frustrating that things in the past that have happened and unfortunate circumstances, things that have happened, it's really not fair. But I think, the NCAA will see this, and I think everything will work out. So I hope everything is cleared up, and we can go out and play football like we signed on to do.
Kind of the silent majority, the college football players who haven't committed any violations, and they're the ones who have to struggle through the adversity. Hampton thrown for a loss by the Culpepper company. The Florida defensive team. Mark Murray, the left tackle, was back there, number 54.
And Murray just fought his way up through the double team, and a guy that was an outside linebacker in the spring, really not good enough to play, not big enough to play defensive line, but relies on his quickness and his mobility to get in the right place. He was I guess, an ESPN Player of the Week for him last week against Auburn.
Second down, 11. It is complete to Kirk Warner, right down the middle, to the 40-yard line. The tight end, Kirk Warner, split the seam, a gain of 30. Pat Moore finally ran him down.
Pat Moore made the tackle at the 38-yard line.
Again, Talley rolling to his left, looking for Warner. Puts it right on him, and you see Will White. Will missed one earlier on Rodney Hampton, and he misses Warner there. They make the catch, just get up there, make the tackle, get him on the ground.
First down from the 38, Hampton. A momentary hold, but Mark Murray came over to finish him off. And Florida is warming up their backup quarterback, Lex Smith. He's a redshirt freshman who had been a starter previously this year after Kyle Morris was suspended. Redshirt freshman from Dade City, 6'2", 200. He's only thrown 7 passes this year. More of a pocket passer. Obviously, Florida's gonna have to go to the air, trailing by 10 with 9 minutes to go in the game. Down hard at the 35-yard line. He tried the sprint out. The penetration coming right up there to nail it is number 95, Gene Spear, a loss of 7.
Bud Spear, he's a junior out of Carroll City. He was Godfrey Miles' teammate in high school at Carroll City. He walked on at Florida, but he comes up and encircles Talley's helmet and drags him to the ground.
Makes it a 3rd down, 13. 8:30 to go in this game. A long way from over, even though Georgia leads it by 10, 17-7. Hampton in motion. Talley's going to go down again, and a penalty marker is down to boot. Talley at the 31 goes down 2 times in a row now. This Florida defense not ranked number 1 for nothing. It was Huey Richardson who was back there, number 90. That would be his 10th sack if it holds up. See what the penalty is.
Richardson, Mark Murray there also.
The offense on the play. Penalty is declined. They'll bring up 4th down.
To give Richardson his first sack of this game, his 10th on the season.
Now Florida can come after punts. They had an incidental running into the punter on the first punt by Georgia, but they have blocked punts. And Timmy Paul can do that. Number 99, they can turn him loose, and they need to make something happen on the special teams or on defense.
Hester's done an effective job punting the ball away today. He gets off a cannon shot. Barber, fair catch at the 23-yard line. So now the Gators trailing by 10 after the 49-yard punt by Hester.
When the engine revs, you can feel it in your chest. Power. The sound of it is like a drum. Yet when you're in the car, the sound is silence. All you feel is powerful and safe. Infinity.
What are you doing over there?
That's where the fish are.
Oh, no. They're right over there.
$1 on the first fish?
How about 5 on the biggest?
Okay.
While we can't promise, a Bell South Mobility car phone will help you catch bigger fish,
Oh, this is big. This is real big.
we can promise it'll give you more time to try. Bell South Mobility, the phone company for your car.
Florida has sent Lex Smith, the redshirt freshman quarterback, into this ball game. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's from Pasco, Florida. Only thrown 7 passes in his collegiate career for 59 yards. On the first down, he goes to the air, rifles it to Smith. And a first down across the 35-yard line. Matt McCormick with a tackle along with Robert Bell, a gain of 13.
Let's watch Emmett coming out of the backfield here. Smith going to Smith all the way. Torrey Evans coming, try to put the whack on him. Emmett quick enough to move out of his way and get a first down.
It's the cough drop backfield of Smith, and Smith. 36-yard line. Lex. One-handed grab by Emmett. Penalty markers down at the line of scrimmage. And that flag was thrown at the line after the pass had already been thrown to Emmett, a gain of 8 yards. So the infraction happened way behind and after the play, actually. It's going to be against Florida.
But holding by the offense on the play. Replay the first down after a 10-yard penalty.
Gary Darnell is unsure about his future, trying not to think about that. But I'll tell you one thing for sure, whether he's here at Florida next year or as a defensive coordinator for a new head coach or as the head coach, that man's going to make an excellent, excellent head coach for some school. Well prepared, well organized, and his team reflects his tenacity and tenaciousness.
First down 20 from the 25. Lex Smith drops straight back, rifles it over the middle, almost picked off. Coming across was freshman Mike Jones, and he couldn't get his hands on it.
Well, Lex Smith is going to the right place, too deep zone, tries to look off the weak safety under pressure. Mo Lewis almost grabs his arm, but whips it down the middle. Mike Jones is there. Should have been an interception, but we're not defensive backs for nothing.
And tried to get it for Kirkpatrick. The Good Hands Awards don't go back there. There's Goff gaining some yardage on the sideline. Nets has broken 100 yards in this game. I don't know if Goff can do that or not. Lex Smith rifles it. Out here to the 45-yard line, about a yard shy of the first down to Terrence Barber, number 3. Ben Smith with the stop, a gain of 19.
Ray Goff was trotting down to say something to Richard Bell. And Barber comes underneath, and you're right, Lex Smith is putting it on the money. He's firing it downfield, a good catch, and very patient. You see how he's looking the defensive backs off. He knows it's his zone, and when he's ready to let go of it, he's going back to his primary receiver. Looking very poised and confident.
Third down 1 from the 45. Emmitt Smith trying to get the 1. He does. First down, Florida. 6:26 to go in the game. Georgia leading it by 10. And the Gators looking much more adept at moving the ball with the pocket passer in there right now. Lex Smith's dad's here at this ball game, but I understand he may not be wearing the blue and orange.
Well, the funny thing about that is that he's president of the Georgia Bulldog Club in Tampa. Torn emotionally.
Imagine the torment of his kid. First and 10 from the 47-yard line. I'll bet his dad's pulling for Florida right now. Emmitt Smith driving inside Bulldog territory to the 46-yard line, about 3 yards short of the first down. Hiawatha Barry got his arm on that ball, but Smith had enough velocity to still get it to Emmitt.
Ray Goff standing on the sideline down there close to Richard Bell as we watch this again. Hiawatha Barry working on Mark White, goes up in the air, but as you mentioned, Bob, enough momentum on that ball to carry it out to Emmitt Smith.
Second down 3. Willie McClendon close to the first down. Mo Lewis was there to make the stop initially for the Bulldogs.
Lex Smith had started against New Mexico, and it hadn't been real effective. And then he got a cut on his left hand, and they put in Donald Douglas. Douglas came in and did well. But I think that the Florida coaching staff, and of course the final decision is that man Gary Darnell right there, decided that they wanted the extra benefit of Douglas's feet, his ability to run. It threatened a defense that way.
First down by just the nose of the football. The Gators drive stays alive. 5:17 to go in the game. Georgia leads it by 10. Florida has 2 of their 3 timeouts remaining. Remember, Emmitt Smith called one earlier when he didn't like the defensive call by the Georgia Bulldogs. So now the clock down to 5. Lex Smith, 3 out of 4 for 39 yards. Now at the 43 of Georgia. With the penetration. He got it away. Terrence Barber out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Kirk Douglas, number 43 for Georgia, was right in the face of Lex Smith, but he found number 3, 5'9" Terrence Barber.
George Wynn coming off, giving him plenty of room now, playing a zone. He's actually playing a zone. Kirk Douglas jammed Lex Smith. The ball. Get a chance to see it here now. Just as he's getting rid of it, he gets hammered. The ball comes fluttering out there, but Barber makes a catch.
From the 26-yard line where they spotted, first down Florida, trailing by 10. Georgia pressure. Lex Smith. Penalty marker. Defensive interference, I believe, will be the call. George Wynn covering Kirkpatrick. Wynn is number 22. Kirkpatrick number 88.
Don't listen to him, Al.
That's what Ray Goff is saying.
That's Richard Bell next to Ray Goff.
Defensive pass interference on the play. There'll be a 15-yard penalty spot disregarding the half of this.
Bob, the clock has been running this whole time. The whole time that this has been going on, the clock is still running.
Gary Darnell is rightfully livid. About 30 seconds has elapsed. And remember, the Gators are trailing by 10, and every precious second counts. The Gators have only 2 of their timeouts remaining. The official time is kept on the sideline by the official, but the official may be working an automatic device to the scoreboard clock. The clock comes into play at the Gator Bowl, I swear. It will get involved in the game in some way.
It just wants to be talked about, that's all.
It gets time, just like an offensive lineman holding. Let's see what they decide. Ray Goff says 4:09 seems right to me.
It's first down and 10 for the Gators at the 11-yard line.
Al Ford talking to the timekeeper.
As the pass fell incomplete and the flag went down, the clock never stopped. It just kept ticking and ticking and ticking, and finally somebody brought it to Gary Darnell's attention.
Well, there's a dispute on exactly how much is left. I think I would estimate around 4:22. That's just a guess. With the clock in my head, I don't know. Let's see what they do.
There's Phil Maggio, the line coach, in the orange shirt, for Al Ford talking to Gary Darnell.
Darnell is lobbying for more, but I think he's going to get 4:22. Well, this is the 68th annual border war between Georgia and Florida, and it's been as good as all the others. Georgia's leading it by 10. Now we've got Darnell wants it to be about 4:35. Maybe they'll settle on 4:29.
There shouldn't be a problem because there is an official time on the sideline.
Well, it's critical, obviously. This one's worth sticking with and watching. Remember, interference was the call. Let's take a look at that again while the discussion continues between Goff and Ford.
Mo Lewis forces him inside. Little roll to the left by Lex Smith. And diminutive George Wynn, who is obviously outsized by almost any receiver in this league, has position. You know, I think they could have called charging on Kirkpatrick. Right, Bob? You're an NBA guy. You got to defend the defense. This goes beyond favoritism here, folks. It goes beyond that. We got to defend the defensive back. George is calling, Al's calling Santa Claus to find out how much time is left.
He's calling he's checking the time with the phone company. I thought you would even agree that that was pass interference. That looked pretty obvious.
You thought that was pass interference?
Absolutely. He got in the guy's way. He's just a big old tight end trying to do his job.
Golly.
And little George Wynn
at our
5'8".
producer, Skip Ellison. He'll agree with me.
By the way, our crew, you know, has a group of Georgia-Florida employees, and we're almost evenly split. I believe it's 5-4 Georgia in terms of the split among the crew today, and they're all dressed out in their varying orange and/or red.
You know, as a player, just let me make this insight. You hate this. You know, all this talking, all this messing around, and you want to get out there. You want to play. Let's go. Let's create some momentum. Actually, this is good for Georgia right now. The penalty, of course, was unfortunate for them, but this certainly diffuses any momentum that Florida had accumulated.
Now, the officiating crew has asked us, the TBS sports crew, to replay this so they can check on how much time is left. And you thought the replay was limited only to the NFL in making a decision. The clock has been reset here at 4:35. And I think that's what they're going to go with. 4:35 is the selected time. So there were three options: 4:30, 22, 34, and 35. And if you had 35, you are a winner. First down and 10 from the 11. Lex Smith under a lot of pressure. He's down at the 17. Penetration from 53 Douglas, number 9 Mike Jones. Less area to cover with the defensive backs. They can afford to send somebody.
Exactly, but Georgia's got the 5'8" cornerback on one side, and they took advantage of it before. We saw Ole Miss take advantage of it. Throw it up in the air. Let them jump.
Now second down 15 from the 16. Make it 14. Lex Smith over the middle. It is complete to the 8-yard line to Kirkpatrick.
That time Richard Bell taking the pressure off his cornerbacks, calling a zone defense, getting Lewis out to one side, and strong safety. Jones out to the other side to try to help a little bit.
10th play of the drive. Remember now, it's third down 5 at the 8, 3:34 remaining. It is a 10-point Georgia lead. Looked like somebody moved in the Florida backfield. May have been Emmett. Pass is incomplete. Covering was 57 Mo Lewis. Maybe a 5-yard penalty here. That would be a dead ball foul, and this will be marked off, I believe. Let's hold it for a second before we speculate. It has been a committee meeting of officiating here today. Not necessarily through their fault.
In the backfield is declined. Got fourth down.
It was not a dead ball foul. Illegal motion was the call, and it is declined because of the incompletion. It is fourth down, and now Florida, trailing by 10, will go for the field goal. John David Francis, 5 out of 10 on the year. He has been struggling. This one's a big one, to say the least. His longest has been 37 yards. This one's good. John David Francis with the field goal of 24 yards, and it's a 7-point Georgia lead with 3:18 remaining.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
Business takes me from one end of the country to the other. So when I travel, I take along my Lanier Pocket Protege. It lets me make excellent use of my time, no matter where I am. I can dictate letters, memos, and even reports, so that when I get to where I'm going, I have time for the things I enjoy most. And if traffic holds me up, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
For more information, call 1-800-241-1706.
Georgia leads it by 7 now after the field goal of 24 yards. 3:18 to go, and notice on the left of your screen, Rodney Hampton back for the kickoff return, standing way upfield. We'll have to change that. Tries to go over the shoulder, the ball goes out of the end of the end zone. No time elapses on the clock. It'll come out to the 20, and the Bulldogs now want to get some first downs and keep it on the ground. And here comes sophomore Greg Talley with play instructions.
Wide receiver coach Bob Harrison giving Talley the play. Protect the football, protect the football, protect the football. Get a first down, that'd be nice, but protect the football. And I'm telling you what, these Gator defenders are going to be digging and grabbing and scratching and trying to pop that thing loose.
First down from the 20-yard line. Marshall in motion. Hampton right side. He gets about 3 before he is stopped. Lex Smith on that Florida drive for the field goal was 5 out of 6 for 64 yards. He looked impressive throwing the ball.
Looked poised, confident, delivered the ball on time, had to throw it in some tight spots, got it in there anyway. And what I liked about him was that he wasn't, as a lot of young quarterbacks do, they just stare where they're going to throw it, man, and it just draws defenders like a magnet. Your eyes do, but he looked real good.
Clock ticking rapidly from a Gator point of view. Second down, 7, Georgia from the 23. Hampton again. Hampton short of the first down. Here comes that big third down defensive play for Florida now. The nation's #1 defensive football team. 2:27 and counting remaining in this game. Georgia leads it by 7. Third down and a long 2.
Maxwell into the game. They'll move Talley with this, Bob.
The pitch to Hampton, the penetration. First down, Georgia. The Gators were back there, but Hampton made a miss. And the Bulldogs get a 9-yard gain and a big first down. Hampton has 114 on the day.
It's been an emotional 8 days for these Florida Gators. Upfield penetration by McCoy and a fine job of blocking by Kurt Warner. You don't see that a whole lot. A good receiver, not a great blocker, but he walled off a defender there and gave Rodney Hampton the space.
Rodney Hampton's 12th 100-yard game of his career, his 4th this year. He gets the ball again. This is when the Rodney Hamptons, the Emmitt Smiths can just make you cry if you're on the other side of the ball.
Start using the timeouts now.
Gators had only 2 timeouts. Now they have only 1.
Moon goes up, sun goes down. I ramble on from town to town. Oh, sweet mama, I sure don't ask for much. I'm just headed for the mountains. I'm just looking for a
It's fueled the victories of Super Bowl champions and Sandlot superstars. It's as welcome on a hot cinder track as a cold sheet of ice. It is unsurpassed at supplying fluids, minerals, and energy. It goes beyond refreshment. It produces results. It's everywhere athletes compete. It's sports. It's Gatorade.
Gatorade is thirsty for that deep down fighting thirst.
Georgia with a 17-10 lead and the ball, 1:25 to go. Florida with only one timeout remaining. Line of scrimmage, 42-yard line. Second down, 6, Georgia. They just keep giving it to Hampton. No gain this time. Hampton now with 28 carries on the day. Florida just used their last timeout. It will be 3rd down and about 5, and we'll take a break for the final moments of the 68th meeting.
It's important to Infiniti to build fast cars, but it's more important to build perfectly balanced cars. And this harmony of balance comes from thinking about the effective speed on such other luxury attributes as comfort and styling. Infiniti cars are primarily driver's cars, and the luxury experience is one that you most enjoy while you're in the car and moving. Infiniti.
There's a special breed of people who do battle day after day. Their arena, the business world. Their territory, the road. They are the Road Warriors.
Ray? Ray Cave. On the road again, huh? 3 cities this week. Hey, Mary Hansen, sales director for Landmark.
Hi.
And Howard Johnson is the place the Road Warrior chooses when he gets ready for the road. Again and again. Howard Johnson, home of the Road Warriors.
Well, it's down to this play for Florida. 3rd down 5, Bulldogs at the 43-yard line of Georgia. Florida out of timeouts. Hampton doesn't get it. He is stopped at about the 44-yard line. Clock continues to run. Moore and Will White combined. It will be 4th down. Florida out of timeouts. Inside a minute and counting.
Ray Goff talking to the punting team, sending them onto the field now. What he's saying to them is, look, protect the punter. Don't let you make sure you block your man before you start running downfield. Make sure you get a good shot. Take all the forward momentum out of that defender.
Now the Bulldogs are going to take a delay of game. There's the 25-second clock. That time elapses. And it'll be a 5-yard penalty with only 37 seconds remaining in the game. Florida's going to need a big play from their punt return team. They have Barber and Stacy Simmons back there. Hester has done a terrific job punting the football today for Georgia. 7 punts, averaging 42.5 yards per punt. Gets it up high in the sun. The sun will be in the eyes of the Florida deep backs. This one. Very high. Barber at his own 25 and out of bounds at the 28. 29 seconds remains for Lex Smith, the Florida quarterback, the redshirt freshman, to try to move the ball down for a touchdown as Georgia leads it 17-10.
Well, you've got to get up within striking distance. You've got to try to complete something around midfield, around the 40-yard line, and then you get a couple of shots to throw it into the end zone. There's no telling what could happen then.
Ernie Mills and Simmons split wide to the top of your screen. Emmitt Smith out in the pass pattern too. He catches it at the 30 and falls out of bounds. A gain of 2 yards and 2 seconds go out. Not exactly the way to get that done. All they did was elapse 2 seconds before stopping the clock again. Florida out of timeouts. Clock at 26 seconds. They'll start running at the snap of the ball.
You know, it's amazing what this Florida team has gone through emotionally. First with Galen, then with the quarterbacks, then with that game last week against Auburn. They left their heart. They might have left their heart on the field there.
Incomplete. With 22 seconds remaining, and now it'll be 3rd down 8.
And then to be able to come back and reload emotionally for Georgia, I think is a real testimony to this coaching staff. And to be able to keep the the young men's minds focused on business as opposed to all the other things that are being printed and said, and as Brad Culpepper talked about in his little talk earlier on.
3rd down 8 from the 30. Obviously 4-down situation for the Gators. No timeouts remaining. Only a 3-man rush for Georgia. Incomplete, almost picked off by Demetrius Douglas. Clock down to 16 seconds. This will be the final gasp for the Florida Gators. Don't forget, immediately following the game, Craig Sager standing by with all the scores and highlights from around the nation today, so don't touch that dial.
Well, last week, Gary Darnell was on the other side of the last gasp. Reggie Slack delivered the ball to Shane Wasden, and it was a touchdown for Auburn and a dramatic finish and a hard-fought, classic defensive battle in the loveliest village on the plain.
This will be the 3rd time Florida's gone for it on 4th down today. They're 0 for 2 on their previous attempts. This is 4th and 8. Smith's going to just run it. And Smith gets the 1st down. That'll stop the clock. And it keeps ticking all the way down to 5 seconds before. He was tackled with about 9 left. It ticks down to 5. So the wind knocked out of Lex Smith, but it looks to be all right. So one final play remains. Lex Smith has a chance to just line it up. The clock will start. It's 4, 3. You see it ticking off. This is the final gasp for Florida. Lex Smith throwing it up there. It's picked off by Ben Smith to end the ball game. His 2nd interception of the day. And the Georgia Bulldogs continue their domination of the Florida Gators in this annual border war today, 17-10. It was Rodney Hampton with 2 touchdown runs and 121 yards as the Georgia tailback outdueled Florida's Emmitt Smith, who had 106. Rodney Hampton, many feel will be a great NFL back, is certainly making his mark at the University of Georgia, and he played every play on offense from the tailback spot today. Rodney Hampton carried the ball 29 times and had 2 catches for 34 yards. We'll be back.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good, you've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette,
the Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
People who want that competitive edge also want the nutrition of 100% whole grain. But of these leading cereals, only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So only Wheaties gives you whole grain nutrition. Better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
Now with 25% less sodium than before.
TBS is here to play. Let's go to the hoop. Superstars, shoot your way. Let's go to the hoop. Come on. Let's go to the hoop. Let's go. Let's go to the hoop. TBS. Let's go to the hoop. Slam agenda. Let's go to the hoop. TBS. Let's go to the hoop. You gotta see the best. You gotta see TBS at the hoop.
There's something elemental in us all, a basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
Engines designed to aerospace tolerances should have a fuel that's equally exacting. Because the more sophisticated the engine, the more sophisticated the fuel must be. Exxon gasolines, precision equipment for precision engines. Just turn the key.
Well, the Bulldog fans are celebrating, and they'll be doing that the rest of the weekend here in Jacksonville. 17-10 winners today. Florida outgained Georgia, outrushed Georgia, outpassed Georgia in terms of yardage, but had 4 turnovers. And Georgia had Rodney Hampton.
Mike Ditka said statistics are for losers, right? The important thing is how many points you get on the board. A well-fought, well-played, well-coached football game. Both teams working with limitations, and both teams responding. You could see the philosophies change throughout the game, but basically what happened was Rodney Hampton stepped up and came up with the plays when he needed to, and the Georgia defense came up with the important turnovers.
And Georgia makes a move for a bowl bid here with a win today. The record goes to 6-3 and 4-2 in the SEC. And next up for Georgia will be Auburn. We'll talk about that in a moment. Today's Valvoline players of the game are Ernie Mills of Florida with the 2 nice catches on that touchdown drive, including the 19-yard reception for the touchdown. And Rodney Hampton of the University of Georgia, 2 touchdowns, 121 yards, couple of catches today, and Hampton was the man at the tailback position. On behalf of Valvoline, TBS Sports is proud to contribute $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund for each institution in recognition of this honor. Don't forget, next week, Tim and I will be in Athens, Georgia. As the SEC title race continues, the 12th-ranked Tigers of Auburn will take on the bowl-hungry Bulldogs of Georgia. The action begins at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, right here on your home for SEC football, TBS. Today's game has been brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. By Valvoline Motor Oil, people who know use Valvoline. By Georgia Pacific Building Products with superior performance built in. By Citgo, the sign of quality. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst. Well, that's the story in Jacksonville. 17-10 Georgia. For Tim Foley and our entire crew, this is Bob Neal saying so long from Jacksonville. Now here's Craig Sager in Atlanta.
Thanks, Bob. We told you earlier this afternoon that up to 7 SEC teams could go to bowl games. The invitations go out 2 weeks from today, but a lot depends on this afternoon's games. We'll have highlights coming up next on the Busch College Football Scoreboard.
One of these guys is a pro photographer. One's a dentist. With the autofocus EOS 750, it's tough to tell them apart. Canon EOS. Now you don't have to be a pro to shoot like one. And with the EOS 750, now you don't have to be a pro to afford one. Autofocus Canon EOS, so advanced, it's easy to shoot like a pro.
By the way, Doc, could you look at this tooth?
Now, a $50 rebate direct from Canon.
Monday.
Are you dating that Tinkanese woman, George? Is it Kathy?
George.
I like Kathy.
Everything you wanted to know about aliens.
Where you're touching me on my back. That's an erogenous zone.
But we're afraid to ask.
A newcomer woman really needs 2 men to, what,
fertilize her egg, yes.
Will you be coming to the coupling tonight, Matthew?
Sometimes it takes 3 to tango.
Any more of this and I'll need a hot shower.
Alien Nation, Monday on Fox.
The Murine Earwax Removal System has drops that safely loosen hardened wax when used as directed, plus an ear washer to gently flush wax away. Murine, the complete medically approved system to safely remove earwax.
Eureka takes you under the rug to show you all the cleaning power of the low-cost Boss. 50% extra suction power to cut your cleaning time in half. The Boss from Eureka, the power to sweep you off your feet.
The Made in the USA label.
What a feeling.
It means more than great fashion, quality, and fit. It means feeling great about the clothes you wear. Look for it, buy it in apparel and home fashions for the fit, the fashion, the fabulous feeling.
What a feeling.
So much has gone into the design of Soloflex. Years of refinement, the finest materials, the strongest, most dependable steel, the sleekest, most efficient form, building in value at every step of design and construction. We know those of you who use Soloflex take pride in your bodies. And at Soloflex, we take pride in knowing that. For a free brochure, call anytime.
Today's college football scoreboard is brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name.
Welcome to the Busch College football scoreboard. There was no question that Notre Dame was going to win today's game against SMU. The only doubt was if they'd cover the 54-point spread. If you're a Notre Dame fan, get ready for a good laugh. If you're an SMU fan, go to the refrigerator and get a Busch. Here's what happens. Forrest Gregg says, I'm in for a long afternoon. I know it, but let's not get embarrassed. Raghib Ismail returns this punt. Obviously, SMU forced the punt, and he takes it 65 yards for what appears to be a touchdown, but it was called back because of a penalty. But that was good experience and practice for SMU because now they know what's going to happen if they punt, and maybe they can stop Notre Dame and prevent that from happening again. They can learn their lesson. But watch what happens. They have to punt. Ricky Waters takes it on his 3, and he does the same thing that the Rocket Man did a few moments ago. Goes all the way for a touchdown. This one 97 yards, the longest punt return in Notre Dame history. The poor punter, Casey Kleiss, has seen enough. Watch what happens a short time later when he has to punt. Who do I punt it to? They have both of those great guys back there. Well, I've never scored. I'll give 2 points to Notre Dame. He just retreats, surrenders, goes out of the end zone, and even the fans can't figure out what he was trying to do. But anyway, they do cover the point spread because they only lose by 53 instead of by 54. Colorado spotted Oklahoma State a 10-0 lead, but J.J. Flanagan has scored a touchdown. Darian Hagan has thrown for a touchdown pass and also run for one, and Colorado is on top 21-10. A big game in the Big Ten determining probably the Rose Bowl bid. It's Michigan, Illinois, no score first quarter. Tonight, Alabama, ranked 4th in the country, taking on LSU on the road. Nebraska leads Kansas 16-7 in the second quarter. Jerry Godowski has a touchdown pass to Richard Bell. Miami is taking on Pittsburgh. The Miami Hurricanes, of course, had a loss already this year, but they're trying to come back in a major bowl bid. A bad punt, rather bad snap, and Brian Greenfield goes down on his 3. Great field position for Miami, but they can't get the touchdown. On third down, the ball is dropped. They have to settle for a field goal. However, a short time later, they do get in the end zone. Stephen McGuire goes in for the score, and the Hurricanes on top of Pitt now 10-0. That is in the second quarter. Southern Cal and Arizona, USC has won 18 straight Pac-10 games. And the Tennessee Volunteers, 52-9. The story here is freshman Carl Pickens. He was our player of the week a couple of weeks ago. He is playing both ways as a wide receiver and a free safety. The first time a Volunteer player has done that since 1967. And yes, he does have a touchdown, a 40-yard interception return for a TD. Penn State struggling this afternoon against Maryland. Highlights in a moment on the Busch College football scoreboard. After their first losing season in 50 years, Joe Paterno has worked Penn State up to 14th in the rankings. However, this afternoon they have their hands full against unranked Maryland. Penn State on the road 4th and goal. Tony Saka, a good chance for a touchdown, but watch what happens. He trips over the yard line marker, goes down, no score. Maryland gets the ball. And the Terps score the first touchdown of the game. Neil O'Donnell to Mike Anderson, putting Maryland on top. They were leading at the half 7-3. Tom Bill replaced Saka at quarterback. Leroy Thompson got the touchdown, but these two teams have played even. It is 13-all now. About 26 seconds remaining in the game. Penn State has the ball, but they have a long way to go to the end zone. That game is tied 13-all. Auburn, a big afternoon, 35-10. They scored 28 points in 2.5 minutes. 2 touchdowns, turnovers led to 2 other TDs. Auburn with a comfortable lead. Virginia already has 8 wins on the season. They're trying for their 9th, which would match their best record since 1895. They're up by a touchdown in the 4th quarter. Rutgers and West Virginia. This was a great game this afternoon, an exciting one. Major Harris was so excited he lined up behind the guard instead of the center. They had a good laugh about it, though. Heisman Trophy candidates don't do that. Here's what they do, though. 59 yards to the touchdown for Harris. And West Virginia took the lead, 14-7. But Rutgers came back. It won only 2 of 8 games so far this year. But Marshall Roberts sparks the Rutgers team with a TD run for 63 yards in the punt return, and Rutgers had the lead going into the 4th quarter. But West Virginia came back. Major Harris to Reggie Rembert, and West Virginia pulls it out. 21-20. Rutgers missed a field goal that would have won it from 41 yards out with a few minutes to play. So West Virginia escapes with a 1-point victory. And of course, our game right here, Georgia defeats Florida 17-10. Both teams now 6-3 on the year. In the ACC, North Carolina State and Duke. NC State ranked 22nd in the country, 7-2. But Duke at home, right, with a 6-3 record. David Brown in for the injured Billy Ray puts Duke on top by a touchdown, 7-0. NC State comes back. Anthony Barber right up the middle. Good blocking by the center and right guard. And Barber goes 57 yards to give NC State the lead. On the next play, Todd Varn goes in for the touchdown. And that gave them the lead 10-7 after the big run by Barber setting it up. Then in the 2nd quarter, David Brown, one of 2 touchdown passes to Clarkston Hines, who becomes the NCAA's all-time career touchdown reception leader, breaking the record held by Elmo Wright. And Duke on top 35-26 late in the 4th quarter. A big game in the WAC, Air Force against BYU, the opening kickoff of the game. We told you a short time ago that Stacy Corley ran it back for a touchdown. He has run 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns already in this game. And the sprinter on the track team for BYU has the Cougars on top. But Air Force matching BYU with a 7-2 record, coming back. D. Dowis to Ron Gray. And he goes for the touchdown. It's in the 2nd quarter right now, and it's an exciting one. 17-14, Air Force up by a field goal. Fresno State has a touchdown lead over New Mexico State. The Iowa Hawkeyes are having trouble scoring this year. We'll have highlights of their game against Ohio State in a moment.
We're looking. We're looking. Yes, we are looking. Come on. I'm just looking for a bush beer.
And for your Penn State fans, it is a final now. Penn State and Maryland play to a 13-13 tie. Elsewhere, Boston College defeats Army. This is a big one, 24-17. Boston College wins for only the 2nd time this season. Iowa, as we mentioned, having trouble scoring. In fact, they were shut out today. Ohio State wins it 28-0. Buckeyes first shutout since 1986. Michigan State leads Minnesota. That's in the 3rd quarter, 12-7. Northwestern has scored a couple of times, but they're still behind after spotting Purdue, a 32-0 halftime lead. Texas Tech with a comfortable margin over TCU by 30. Wake Forest leads Tulsa 29-17. That's in the 4th quarter. East Carolina leads Temple. Temple still looking for its first win of the year. In fact, Jerry Burt, the coach, hasn't won since 1987. He's lost 28 straight. Syracuse over Navy, 38-3. That's in the 3rd quarter. Here's a funny score for you. Kentucky leads Vanderbilt 6-5, and now let's make it 11-6 as Vandy has kicked 2 more field goals. North Carolina and South Carolina at the half separated by a point. Oklahoma with a 28-3 lead over Kansas State in the Big 8. Utah leads New Mexico State 18-14 second quarter. Indiana up on Wisconsin 24-10 on the road. Louisville, remember they've lost all those close games at the end. 4 games have been decided in the last minute and a half. They are leading 17-3. Howard Schnellenberger, you probably heard, got a 5-year extension this week. And Mississippi State leads Tulane 21-0 at the half. Mississippi State will be 5-4 if they win that game. Missouri on top of Iowa State 21-7. Next week, it's Georgia at home against Auburn. I'll be back later this afternoon with the college football updates.
Today's college football scoreboard has been brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name.
May not improve your golf game, but it will give you more time to give it a shot.
Okay, Mr. Simmons, big swing.
A Bell South Mobility car phone may not improve your backhand,
Think we're done.
but it will give you more time to work on it. Bell South Mobility. We're the phone company for your car. Call us at 1-800-351-3355 because we know what you're working for.
David Robinson, your first chance to see him in the pros. NBA Tuesday on TNT. San Antonio, Milwaukee. David Robinson. At Navy, he dominated the college boards. Now he's taking aim at the NBA. San Antonio and Milwaukee. Live at 8 Eastern Tuesday on TNT.
The event, Flash 9 New York Knockout, the great one. Nature Boy Ric Flair, challenged by Terry Funk. Call him controversial, but call him sir. Plus more, live Wednesday, November 15th, 8:05 p.m. on TBS.
Tonight, it's Billy Joel with his hot hit, We Didn't Start the Fire, on Night Track's Chartbusters. Then, on Night Flicks, Dudley Moore sells his soul and meets one of man's 7 deadliest sins, Raquel Welch. Bedazzled. It all begins at 11:20 Eastern on TBS. Tonight, Carl Lewis, Olympic champion. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, one of the greatest female athletes of our time. And world record holder Roger Kingdom. They led the way in a year that saw 6 new world records. Track and field, the year in review. On U.S. Olympic Gold, a TBS Sports exclusive. 10:20 Eastern on TBS tonight.
You're the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
He came from the steel mills of Ohio.
Is holding her
to have 17 #1 hits.
and loving you.
Earl Thomas Conley.
But I can't win for losing you.
Now Heartland Music presents the very best of Earl Thomas Conley. A 2-record collection of his best loved and most beautiful songs.
Winter of '79 was so cold and lonely. I found a good woman. She took me inside. Nobody falls like a fool. Nobody.
He sings straight from the heart with a voice that's pure and honest.
And I have kissed you, girl, but your lips ain't never tasted quite so sweet and warm. Oh, angel.
You get all of Earl's #1 hits in this beautiful 2-record collection.
How's it going? Might be what I'd say. We believe in happy endings.
The very best of Earl Thomas Conley is not sold in any store.
And what she does is just look at the good.
Please stay tuned to order.
And what she is a woman in love.
Use your credit card and save COD charges by calling toll-free 1-800-257-1234. Or to save all additional charges, send check or money order for only $12.98 for albums or cassettes, or $19.98 for 2 compact discs to Earl Thomas Conley, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia. That's P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia.
Good afternoon and welcome to the TBS Afternoon Movie. Today, a tough sheriff, a notorious outlaw. 10 Days of the Duke continues with John Wayne and Walter Pidgeon in Dark Command, the TBS Afternoon Movie.
Silver watch and $5 in coin of the realm for every southern settler who will leave here for the rich and fertile plains of Kansas. The South needs your vote. We want no $5 voters. We want no silver watch settlers. We want a people of Kansas with good, hard-working northern farmers.
Hey, yes, sir. As mean a molar as ever I did see. Give me $2 and we call it square. What do you say? Must hit you pretty hard to loosen up that tooth. What's trouble?
I said President Pierce was a polecat, which he is. And then he popped me. Just wait till I get him in Kansas.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you in a bit.
Are you a dentist?
Am I a dentist? My friend, you're looking directly at the best dentist west of Mississippi. What seems to be your trouble?
Big feller back there belted me on the mouth.
Right in the chair there. Right in there. Sit down there. Nothing about Pierce, I hope.
Why, yeah. Who told you?
Excuse me, partner.
I don't want no trouble with you, mister. Just leave me be. I'm minding my own business. You mind yours.
Stranger, I ain't a can whose wagon you're fixing. Wasn't talking to you in the first place. But in the second place, I still think we could do with a better president. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, all right, mister. You asked for it.
Right after the Mexican War, my wife says to me, says, Andrew, you know what this country needs? I says, no, what's it need? Says, needs more dentists. Well, it did, so I become a dentist. Say, There we are, sir. Hey, we ain't doing bad. Made $34 the last 3 days.
Well, I can't go around popping people all my life.
And am I asking you to? Who were you when I met you? Nobody standing around down Texas, wanting to travel and see the country. Well, you're seeing it, ain't you?
Yeah, and I ain't liking it. You told me I'd see mountains and oceans. This country ain't no different than Texas. Ain't as good.
I know, but travel costs money, son.
You saying I ain't earning it?
Now, I'm not complaining. You knock them loose, I pull them out. Maybe, I'm just saying maybe, you know. If you was more promiscuous with your punching, we might make a little more money.
What do you mean, promiscuous?
Well, you got strange ideas about justice. Don't want to hit nobody unless they deserve it. Now, that's all right. But we're in business. Business different.
Well, I don't know, Doc. You're going to lose yourself a partner unless we get out of this territory pretty quick. Because I aim to see them mountains you were talking about.
You got a memory like an elephant. Get up.
By the tater, Doc?
Can't. Break my plate. Get up. find your camping grounds, mister?
Edge of town, just past the schoolhouse.
Much obliged.
Yeah.
Doc?
Yeah?
Hear that?
Sure. Pretty.
Gives me goose pimples.
Sick?
No, just proud.
Hello. Would you mind moving? I'd like to get through. I said, would you mind moving? I'd like to get through.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am, but I ain't had a chance to hear such pretty singing in a long time. You wouldn't believe it, but music does something to me. That kind of music. Why, I can remember
Yes,
when...
that's all very interesting, but are you going to move this wagon, or shall I have it moved for you?
You know, Doc, all them stories we've been hearing about Kansas must be true. Why, even the women folk think nothing of threatening strangers right out in the open like.
Good morning, Miss McLeod.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Cantrell. Would you be good enough to ask him to get out of the way? He's so enchanted with your music class, he refuses to move.
Your interest is very gratifying, sir. First time our singing lessons have ever held up traffic. If you'd care to, we'd be delighted to have you join us.
Thank you, mister. In that case, I reckon we'll move on. Get out of there.
Beautifully done, Mr. Cantrell. You certainly know how to say the right thing at the right time.
Except where you're concerned.
Oh, Will, you've held me speechless with your eloquence.
Yeah, that's just what I'm complaining of. I want to leave you with just enough speech to say one word, and you never do. Maybe I should change my tactics.
Do you think I'd say yes at the point of a gun?